It's Wednesday. It's 8 o'clock. It's the TNG Review Show. We're back, people. Yes, after an unexpected week off last week, we are back. We're feeling quite Christmassy this evening, so we've donned our Christmas hats, and we've got our mulled blood wine. And actually, I haven't. I've just got normal blood wine, but you've got blood wine that's disappearing into your background.
Go
good
with
evening.
the cab sauce to start with, and then have the Merlot later.
I can turn this bottle into a half bottle. Just watch. Hold on.
Oh,
There you go.
it's pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, magic trick. I can make it disappear, and it's back again.
Yes. Anyway, good evening. Welcome back to the TNG Review Show on the Vault. We are consigning another episode of Star Trek The Next Generation to our vault, and I'm joined this evening by my co-hosts, Mazim Bob, Tarvikins Turner, and Chief Sean. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Yes, we're sorry about last week. We do have new bingo cards now from this week onwards. So there is a new bingo card link in chat. I posted it via the Vault in live chat. So if you scroll up and make sure you've got live chat on and not top chat, you should see it up there somewhere. If you haven't got your bingo card already, feel free to go grab your bingo card and listen out for those Sean references. The Chief Sean references as we go through the evening. So this week, good evening, Mazim Bob. How are you?
Hola, I'm good, thank you.
How's your week
Not
been?
much going on in my world, sorry.
No.
I had a very Christmassy weekend. I felt the essence of Christmas because we were sat watching Harry Potter, which is a bit of a tradition.
Oh,
Me
it's
and
your
my husband
tradition,
always watch the Harry Potters as we're like a few weeks from Christmas. And I was wrapping Christmas presents, and I was drinking mulled cider. It was Stu Plum's homebrew peach and mango cider that we'd heated up and added a shot of mango Dead Man's Fingers rum. So
nice.
yeah, it was really, really nice.
Nice.
Rum and cider.
Bit too
Very
nice.
traditional for the West
Right.
Country.
Yeah, Christmas.
Yeah. Brilliant stuff. Terrykins, how's your week been?
Doing good. Nice week so far, and got the trio.
Hey! I do have a tiny little tree in my studio. I don't know if you can make it out there on my shoulder. I've got a tiny little tree.
Can do, yeah. Yeah, very good on both counts. You've really spruced the place up.
I love you.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been sitting on that one for 10 minutes. I'm just waiting for it to go live.
Oh dear. How are you, Chief Sean? How's your week been?
Oh, I'm very busy. People are sick. People are out. So a 4-person team is just me. So that's always great crack. But anyway, look, I only have to put up with it to the end of next week. Hopefully, we'll see what happens.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. And how are you all in live chat world? I see we have Wookie. Good evening to you, sir. I hope you're well. We've got Stuplum. Good evening to you, Stuplum. And Ruth. It's lovely seeing you, Ruth, again. I hope you had a nice holiday. And good evening to my ever-suffering wrench, Smiler Rainbow. Good evening to you. I hope you're well this evening. Yes, good evening to you all. I see Smiler asked where the link is. It is up there. If you should scroll up, you'll see a yellow The Vault sign, or it might not be yellow to you. It is to me because I'm it, aren't I? But it'll say The Vault there with my red logo. Go find it up there. Hopefully you found it now. Yes,
Sorry, Tabby keeps thinking this background is engineering. Someone want to enlighten her where I am?
You're in the operations room of the TARDIS.
Correct.
You know what's crazy? I was thinking TARDIS if it wasn't an engineering room.
Peter Capaldi's or Matt Smith.
Matt Smith's. Well, it's Matt Smith's because it doesn't have the book. Oh no, sorry.
It does have the bookshelf.
It does have the bookshelf.
Yeah.
It's the Peter Capaldi. You're right.
Peter Capaldi. Yeah. Yeah, very cool. Very, very cool. Right. So, on with it this evening. So, we are here to consign to our vault Timescapes. It's episode 25 of season 6 of Star Trek The Next Generation. It's the last normal singular episode before the end of season 2-parter. So this is it. We're on the cusp at the end of season 6. Production number 40276-251. And it first aired in the United States on the 14th of June 1993. It was the 150th episode to be both produced and released in TNG, if you count Character at Farpoint as one.
Oh, let's not go there again.
And I'm going to stipulate that now forever.
I don't know if you ever remember, there was an episode of South Park where two nerds are having a fight over how many episodes of the original series there was, whether you count the Menagerie as a two-parter or not.
Yeah.
With a similar kind of thing. It was
Similar
a whole
thing.
plot of an episode.
Yeah. It was written by Brannon Braga, his 16th of 24, of whom we know, and directed by some chap called Adam Nimoy. This is his second of 2 episodes he directed for Star Trek The Next Generation, the first one being Rascals.
Do you know who he's married to?
I did know.
She's got a worm in her belly.
Yes.
Terry Farrell. She
Terry
was
Farrell.
married. She divorced him last year or so. But she was.
The
They were
cat
together
from
a few
Red
years.
Dwarf, yes. Yeah. Famously.
The second American. Correct that. You're one from Becker. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, the one from Becker. The one that left Deep Space Nine for Becker. What a career move that was.
Hey, she got 4 seasons out of Becker.
Did she really?
Yeah,
Do you know,
Wait,
I've
it'll
never
take you a
seen
while.
an episode. Never watched it.
Oh, it was alright.
Was that also a Red Dwarf reference? Or
It
just
was.
Deep Space?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
It
So
was.
Terry Farrell, who played Jadzia Dax, was in a pilot for Red Dwarf for the American version.
The American version, yeah.
But naturally enough, Americans just can't do the dry, sarcastic wit that the Brits do, and it just was bad.
It's one of
Takes
those
them
rare.
too long to catch on.
It's one of those rare instances where they took a black character and race swapped it to a white.
Although, to be fair, the first pilot, they did have a black guy, and he was...
They did. And he was a dancer.
He was, yeah,
I
did you
think-
ever see the musical episode of Buffy? You know, the
Yes.
guy, Mr. Trick, him. Same guy. He came off Broadway to do Red Dwarf, but didn't end up making it.
Didn't go anywhere. No. Adam Nimoy also directed 2 episodes of Babylon 5. I think we might have mentioned that last time. The second episode of Babylon 5 he directed was Zahadun, the end of the 3rd season, which is a hell of an episode. So, he has directed a few things. And recently he directed the documentary For the Love of Spock, which was pretty good. Have you ever seen that?
That was really good.
Yep. Right. First, we're going to need pictures, so I better share my screen.
Love the
So
beard.
although-
The beard.
Although
It's getting a bit long,
Brannon
isn't it?
Braga,
It's getting a bit. I am actually starting to look like Father Christmas. Sorry, Maz.
Yeah, particularly if you're
No.
wearing all red and with the hat. If you walk around like that, a few 5-year-olds are going to get an awful surprise.
Ho ho ho. Sorry, Maz.
I was just going to say that although Brannon Braga developed the pitch, the original idea came from a guy called Mark Jared O'Connell. Jared? I don't know. Saying that it was like a ship trapped in time like Amber. But in the original idea, neither ship was the Enterprise. It was actually that the Enterprise came across 2 other ships in that situation. And then as soon as he kind of started with his pitch, Brannon Braga was like, oh, one of the ships has to be the Enterprise. So, the wheels were already turning and they were sort of developing it even as he was kind of pitching it at them. And Brannon Braga wanted to sort of make it like cause and effect times 10. And they knew that it was going to be quite difficult to produce. And they wanted to give it to Adam Nimoy because obviously he'd previously done Rascals. And he didn't think that somebody should be judged on working on an unusual episode around, directing kids and stuff like that. So kind of wanted to give him a proper adult shot with something with more meat and special effects and stuff like that. And apparently they had the longest optical memo, so about regarding the special effects and stuff. It was like over 6 pages long about how they want it all to go down. And apparently Nimoy had a really clear vision of what it was that he wanted to do and how he was going to bring it to life. So yeah, it's cool.
I'm going to give you a deep dive fact. He also did I just looking him up as you were speaking about it. He also did the episode Second Sight, where Sisko's falling in love with a woman who looks exactly like the wife of a guy who's on the ship. And when they're in the dining room on the ship that they're on is actually the back of the runabout, set redressed, and it's one of the few times you see it. So it's only been used 3 or 4 times before they chopped it up to make it the defined quarters. And but he happened to direct 2 different episodes featuring it, even though it's only in about 4 episodes. Straight one.
Yeah. So we open up a teaser here. As Wookie says, I don't know what Riker was doing so close to Spot to allow him to get to his face like that, but maybe we'll find out. And I just realised my background's still left over from the Monty Zone look. We're in a deep dark wood.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's not good, is it? That's not good enough. There we go. That's better. I'll be in the holodeck. There we go. We better change that at the end of next week for the next season. Okay, so as Wookie has quite rightly noticed there, we are in sickbay with Riker, who's seeking treatment for some scratches on his head. The doc scolds him for playing too much Parisi squares, because he's always going into sickbay for, injuring himself, playing Parisi squares. But Riker tells her, no, it wasn't that this time. He got by Data's cat Spot, whom he's looking after whilst Data is away. One moment he says he was placing down some food, and the next minute a hissing ball of fur was coming at his face. So there you go. That was it. That was what happened. He was feeding his cat.
I mean, that's clearly not actually a cat scratch, is it? That's like
no.
way deeper.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't see any way. Even if a cat jumped down on you, it would be straight down. I mean, yeah, and it wouldn't be 2 tiny ones. It would be 4 or 5. It's not. Can't be done.
No.
Not cat-like.
Oh.
We judge his scratches.
We are judging
I've had enough
the scratches.
Cats, particularly kittens, because they love to scratch the life out of you. That I know better.
On the bridge.
Shy.
Well, I will say, right, Argyle are playing this evening. So I do have the scoreboard. I do have a little ticker telling me what's going on in the game.
Have we?
No, but Scar, one of our defenders, has just been sent off with a red card. So 20 minutes into the game, we're down to 10 men already. God damn it.
Yikes.
That's not good. Anyway, never mind. So, on the bridge, Worf informs him that they've received a distress call from a Romulan vessel claiming to have suffered a complete engine failure. With a rendezvous with the captain not being for another 13 hours, Riker decides to go administer aid. Not before raising shields and going to red alert. It's not question time, Sean. It's just red alert. They've just gone to red alert. Stand down, sir. Stand down. So, in the runabout, Picard, Data, LaForge and Troi are heading home from a 3-day conference on psychological effects of long-term deep space assignments. You'd think they'd know, the psychological effects of deep space assignments by now. Yep,
you'd think so. Yeah.
Bear in mind, it was 100 years ago they started, with Kirk and all that.
Well, particularly the first couple of, the pre-warp ships. I mean, sometimes they used to have a pilot be awake for 3 or 4 years on their own. Everyone else is in stasis. It wasn't easy. So yeah, I think they'd know the subject. But, yeah, if they need.
I'm also not sure how they're going to find out about the long-term effects of space travel. Studying phylobiology, which apparently is a made-up word. But phylogenetics is about evolutionary history amongst groups of organisms, and biology in this context, or the made-up context of it, is the biology of a group that shares a genetic relationship. So it's kind of more about genetics than psychology. And physiognomy that Picard talks about is all about a person's facial features and how the structure of their face can be read to determine, what their personality is like. So yeah, neither of those things seem to really relate to the psychology of space travel.
It's just like one of those. I've been on a number of those conferences in London where you get suckered into going to some really fancy place in the centre of London that you got to stay in a hotel for, and then you spend all day at a conference, and it's just one company after another trying to sell you something, and you didn't get anything out of it what you thought you were going to get out of it, except for loads of contact cards to call them.
Yeah.
What did I do that for?
There's many a conference like that, and people play games, see how many pens he can get. See who finishes with the most individual pens at the end of the day, or whatever tote bags or whatever crap they want to give you.
You've got to get a swag bag.
You keep your office going for about 2 months with random pens and cups and
I don't like where your head goes to sometimes, Wiki. It's yeah. Good evening, Andrew. I hope you're well, sir. I hope you're well. One thing, this is the first time you've seen a runabout, I suppose. Is it? Is it the first time you've seen a runabout? I think it's the first time you've seen a runabout.
First time in TNG maybe, but DS9 was already on the air at this stage.
Yeah, it's the first time we've seen a runabout. So
yeah, you can put it that way.
Yeah.
First time we've seen the back of a runabout.
First and only time we see a back of a runabout.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
It's the only time that a runabout is seen in Star Trek: The Next Generation. Obviously, you see them more in Deep Space Nine, so I don't know in terms of because obviously Deep Space Nine is running parallel to this. So I don't know whether it's the first time or whether it has featured in Deep Space Nine before, but it's certainly the first time on TNG.
Yeah. It's not named in the episode, I don't think. I was looking out for the name of the runabout, but they just call it the runabout.
I couldn't find one. No.
I did actually. I've got from didn't know if it was going to be a question, but I actually did from one of the screen caps find the NCC registry and then look that up on Google.
72452.
In fact, 72452. It turns out it was one of Deep Space Nine's runabouts.
Of course,
the main one.
It's a Rio Grande.
It's the Rio Grande. I don't know what the Rio Grande is doing in the Enterprise. Yeah.
Well, of course they built this this set and stuff to help out the sister show so that it would be attributed to the TNG budget because DS9 is just starting out. So
I see.
Yeah.
TNG were at this time getting like 11 million viewers per episode, so it was like it was one of the biggest shows in the world at the time. So it had a massive budget. So they thought, I know, we'll build some sets for TNG, and then Deep Space Nine can use them. Clever.
Well, I mean,
and they never used them.
No. Well, as I said, they did use them, just not as the back of the runabout. But the sets they used for TNG, they built them for Phase 2 back in 1978 or something like that. And I mean, they used them all the way through Voyager. All those corridor sets were the same ones over and over and over again, just repainted and changed the shape. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know how the show had any trouble making money. They really knew how to stretch a budget.
Yeah, they did. Okay, so yes, there's the runabout. So over lunch, Deanna recounts her interaction with a Qatarian scientist named Dr. Mizan, who wanted her to take part in some empirical research into interspecies reproduction. I think he was Scottish. I think Qatarian.
Why would a Qatarian sound Scottish?
I don't know. Well, every planet has a Norse.
Maybe he lived in Scotland.
No, he's from the Sub Rosa colony, the Scottish colony.
Yes, Sub Rosa.
That has all weird looking aliens on it.
Yeah. Data is surprised to find that she didn't take the Doctor up on his offer, as it's an area of study that she's interested in. He's like, did you take him out? She's like, no, Data. Oh, all right.
But
Yeah. She also complained that a lecture from Professor Wagner put her to sleep, so Data offers to replay the entire thing. But again, Troi declines, and it leaves Data thoroughly confused about Troy's approach to the conference in general. Picard experience.
Beautiful man.
Oh, do you want to go back?
No, not that one.
You beautiful man. Whoop. Who, me?
really naughty.
Yeah. So Picard's experience was no better. Where's Picard gone? There he is. He attended a workshop where the lecturer, Dr. Fassbinder, spent an hour giving a dissertation on the ionization effect of warp nacelles, only to realize the topic was supposed to be psychology. Nobody could tell the instructor of his mistake, as he never gave anyone the opportunity to speak. He just kept talking in one incredibly long, unbroken sentences, moving from topic to topic. No one had the chance to interrupt. It was quite hypnotic.
What, nicely done.
I can't even play Pogo's bloody song.
No, we've cancelled him. But the both the photo you've taken of Picard there and Deanna doing his kind of that face, you know, they've been memed many a time. Yeah, I don't think I have the close up of her doing it, but
No.
But you know the one I'm on about. I've seen it in many a meme. It's a popular one.
Apart from that,
Those
Geordie,
seats there.
the Voyager.
Those seats, yeah, Voyager conference lounge.
Voyager conference lounge seats, aren't they? Yeah. I noticed that.
And as I said, that the those bunks are basically chopped up to be the Defiant quarters, and it's a shame they just didn't use this set as it was as much as they could. And again, you can tell it's new carpet because you can tell all the scuffs all over it.
It looks beautifully plush.
Yeah, but it also looks like it was installed the day before they filmed because there's all those fresh scuff marks all over it. Like it hasn't evened out yet.
Well, they have been on that shuttle for a few hours now, so they've been shuffling around there.
Maybe it's a brand new shuttle, but yeah, just production wise, they could have weathered the carpet.
It's not a shuttle; it's a runabout.
Oh, runabout. Excuse me.
Runabout.
Should I take back the Chief Bingo shuttle?
No, you're right. So, in a juxtaposition to everyone else, Geordie had a lovely time. He was busy touching plasma fields that gave him a tingle. So, he enjoyed himself. But as he was describing it to everyone but Troi froze. Just for a few seconds, leaving Troi feeling very confused at what just happened. That's Troi there looking confused. And that is the end of your teaser and question time. As I check the Argyle scores, it's still 0-0.
Okay, so the first question. Which professor was interested in researching interspecies mating with Deanna? Was it A, Dr. Meisen, B, Dr. Fassbinder, C, Professor Wagner, or D, Dr. Mickhead? So which one of those?
Doctor what? Oh. Like, what did you say?
You never watched Scrubs, did you?
No,
Okay.
I did actually. I did watch a lot of Scrubs.
Okay. Well, there was an episode where he said, "Oh, they're after giving you a nickname," and he goes, "You think that's bad? They should hear what they call Dr. Mickhead." And the guy goes, "What?"
What?
That was the joke.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the speakers kept talking and talking about ionization of warp nacelles. But what was the topic supposed to be?
Right, Marza McBob. Well, did we have any other tribs?
Yeah. Hang on. I don't know, spell it. Something like that. Right. Yes, a few things. A few little kind of goofy doodles. Goofy doodles.
Goofy
So,
doodles.
so Picard, before he tells his incredibly hypnotic story, he goes over to the replicator, and you can sort of, just as he's coming away from it, see like what looks like somebody else's bald head moving in the opposite direction. So that would be a crew member trying to get their reflection out of the way.
Oh.
And also, he goes over to the replicator. He picks up Geordie's cup. He goes over to the replicator, and then the replicator gives him a drink, and then he picks it up and walks away. But he doesn't actually specify what it is. I mean, whether you can press buttons, we don't really see him pressing any buttons. But typically, every other time we've seen the replicator, you have to give it instructions. And then what else? Dr. Fassbinder would be referenced later by Wesley Crusher in the episode Journey's End, and also by Chakotay in the Voyager episode Year of Hell Part 2. And the names of two of the conference speakers were actually in-jokes. So Wagner was named after a one-time date of Brannon Braga's, and Fassbinder was named after one of his high school teachers.
Oh, right. He quite often uses names from his life in his stories, doesn't he?
Does.
It's a thing he does. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Andrew thought Deanna doing a Scottish accent was very sexy. He liked that bit.
Cool. Now the final thing is just, I mean, I know Geordie was talking and everybody was interested in what he was saying. And certainly you can see from this picture that Data is facing Geordie. But from Picard's point of view, being that he's facing towards Deanna, from his perception, she should have gone from a sitting down position to instantly change to a standing up position. And he didn't react to that at all, like he didn't see it. But you'd think as soon as he's facing in that direction, it would have caught his eye. He would have realised that something hinky had happened. But no.
And Andrew, if you're out there, I'm just guessing, but I think Tabbykins is trying to get your attention. I don't know. I'm just thinking that might be the case.
She wants your bingo cards.
She wants your bingo card. That's what she wants. She doesn't want you, Andrew. She wants your bingo card. Yeah. Okay then. Thank you, Mouse. Shall we go to the answers?
We shall. So the first question was Dr. Meisen. He was the one talking about interspecies mating, and the bonus question was psychology.
Yeah, I kind of got it wrong. Because in my notes...
Picard
went to the physiognomy webinar, and then he said with Dr. Fassbinder, who was speaking about warp nacelles instead of psychology. So I put physiognomy rather than psychology.
You conflated the two, yeah.
This might be your time, though. You never know. This could work out well for you. It could.
So we've got
Ruth,
Javi, Montyban, Stu Plum.
Right. Let's get some copies done.
I always find it strange in these episodes that they talk about sex as in mating, which I always think of as reproduction. Why don't they just say coupling or copulating?
You know,
like we're not trying to have babies with each other. We're just trying to get it on.
It's a point. I'm spinning the wheel.
I mean, they talked about interspecies mating, so I thought there might have been like a genetic element to it in terms of procreation. But yeah,
Tubby!
Hey!
Tony got the first spin. Coupling is for DS9. Well done. Well done, Tabby. Okay. So we're on to Act 1. And Geordie scans them all and doesn't find any anomalies. Data can't find any discrepancies between the ship's chronometer and his own. So Geordie and Data go off to run a level 1 diagnostic. Picard sits Troy's down and asks her to go through it again. And as she makes a joke about maybe she just dozed off like she did in the lecture earlier, she too freezes. And comes to with a start as she's surrounded by her colleagues. One thing I did notice is just before she freezes and she started to feel stressed about the situation, she starts tapping behind her ear, which is the betazoid plexing technique that she taught Reg in Realm of Fear when he was suffering
She
with
does that when she's describing it later.
That's a deep dive.
I always remember it's weird though, because she says she does that, but I'm thinking, does that work on humans though? Different physiology.
Well, that's
Tapping
true.
our pulses tapping our arteries don't generally help us. It might actually endanger us.
I don't know. It might be like kind of controlling your breathing, lowering your heart rate if you do it the right way.
I think it was just to give him something else to concentrate on, wasn't it, rather than obsessing about it.
Some people do it with get an elastic band and they slap it off the inside of your wrist. It's kind of that little sense of pain. It takes your mind off what you're thinking about. Maybe it's that kind of thing.
Maybe.
Yeah, she shared it with Barclay in Realm of Fear, episode Realm of Fear.
That's it. That's the one. Yes, so they ask her if she remembers anything, and she doesn't. Geordie finds that from his scan earlier, it shows that over the last 23 minutes, Troi has only aged by 20. Data calls them to the cockpit. I guess it's called cockpit. I was going to say bridge initially, and I thought that sounds a bit grand for a runabout. I was like, bridge, cockpit. I don't know, I'll go with cockpit. So anyway,
that's probably correct.
Oh no, I'm just enjoying this because it has been a Data dry spell, and now I get to finish the year and Christmas with the most delicious episodes. You just keep these photos coming.
It's true, it's been Riker heavy, isn't it?
I think it's usually just called the forward section, but I mean, cockpit.
Forward section. Yes. Okay. So Data calls them to the forward section of the runabout and tells them that the Enterprise. Hey, sorry.
Or the flight deck. When people don't like to say cockpit, they say flight deck. That's the other name.
What is that? Because it has cock in it.
Pretty much.
Isn't that where you want to be?
Oh, people, aren't they silly?
Who doesn't?
Too many people are tittering on flights, so now they always, they if the cabin crew, so not air hostess,
flight
cabin
deck.
crew,
Yeah.
need to refer to the cockpit, they call it the flight deck.
But if they're from New Zealand, it'll sound like they're saying flight deck.
Yeah.
Flight deck.
So they won't
Say
get
that
around the
again.
whole cockpit.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Data calls them to the cockpit. I'm just saying it now. I'm just saying it just for the hell of it. And tells them that the Enterprise is not answering their hails and is beyond their sensor scans. So they increase speed to reach the rendezvous coordinates. But then, as they head off, something goes wrong with the starboard warp nacelle and it sends them into a spin. Data corrects their attitude and the runabout comes to a stop. It turns out the starboard antimatter pod is completely out of fuel, and Data reporting, according to the sensor logs, it has been in continuous use for 47 days. It's a 47 reference.
47 reference.
Yeah. Whilst that's happening, back in the cabin, Picard notices that fruit from lunch has gone off. So goes to touch it, which is probably not a good idea. And he gets a handful of pain, and his fingernails have grown considerably. Yeah. He's going to need a manicure.
He looks like that scene in Thriller when he's like, oh, in the film that they do in the
Yeah, and his nails grow.
Yeah.
video.
Yeah. Data scans of his hands and the fruit finds that there's a pocket of time that's moving 50 times faster than normal, which explains what happened to the warp nacelles as well. Picard orders Geordi to move them away using maneuvering thrusters, but in doing so, they find that they're actually surrounded by small pockets of time. Geordi postulates that it looks like something has shattered the space-time continuum. Anyone else at this point thought, when the first time they saw it, thought, Q, what have you done?
I don't know that I did.
Yeah.
That's a good thought.
Just when they talk about, continuums. Geordi can navigate around them now at half impulse, so they set off to the rendezvous point to meet the Enterprise. So it's quite amazing that, one moment they can't move and they're surrounded by pockets, and then it's like, oh, no, it's all right. At half impulse, I can just go around it. All right, well, that's easy then. So then when they get to where they're supposed to meet the Enterprise, there's nowhere to be seen. However, sensors pick up something metallic far off in the distance, so they head towards it, and eventually they find the Enterprise, and they're a bit shocked by what they find. And the end of the act, we get this shot of the Enterprise seemingly stuck in time engaging a Romulan warbird. Which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool. There's a number of these pretty cool shots.
Giant runabout, though. It's about the size of the Defiant.
Yeah, it's pretty massive. What you got to understand, Sean, is the runabout, right, is close to us. And
No, in the following shot, they put it roughly halfway between
really
the two.
Far away.
It doesn't get any smaller. But in the following shot, when they put it dead center between the two, it's still way too big.
Yeah, later on, yeah, it is. Yeah, that's for sure.
I realise it would only be a speck and you couldn't see it otherwise, particularly on standard definition TVs, but scaling is completely wrong.
Yeah. Yes, the space fascists are here, Andrew. It's, yep. No, at half time. Thank you, Stu Plum. Thank you. He's watching it on the side as well. Dual wielding. Okay, so end of the act and question time.
Lovely. So, the sphere of fast time around the fruit was moving approximately how many times faster than regular time? 30, 40, 50, or 60? And the bonus question is, which engine was in continuous operation for 47 days? And you've got two choices. You can go port, you can go starboard.
That's lucky. It's like two multiple choices.
So, some goofy goofs. So, when, it's a minor goof, but when Troi was asked about her experience with those guys freezing in time, she said she thought it was for 4 or 5 seconds. It was actually more like 20 seconds. So, her estimations of time, maybe not so good. You mentioned about the flexing. So, obviously, they've got this this timey-wimey thingy intersecting with the runabout.
Timey-wimey.
And the inference is that the same one that got Picard's hand is also the same one that got the nacelle. But when they hit it initially, the runabout spun around. So does that mean it was passing through all of them as they were spinning around? Like, because they're static now, and it's like it's static. But being that they spun around, that seems a bit odd. But also, there's some potential timing issues there. So most people have answered, right?
I'd say you're safe.
Yes,
enough, yeah.
I think they have. If it was going 50 times faster than when Picard put his hand in it for about 10 seconds or something, that meant his fingernails would have grown by about 8 minutes. And of course, they look like they've grown by about 3 months. And similarly with the nacelles, for them to have been running continuously for 47 days, that would have been way more than 50 times the speed, from the moment that they passed into it. So they obviously got the math on that a little bit wrong. Plus, I don't know if you noticed, but when Picard walks into that room and sits down and starts typing at the keyboard before he even goes over to the bowl of fruit, he's already got the long nails,
Oh,
which
I
is
didn't
really
notice
silly.
that,
Because then he
no.
stands up with the
Ah.
long nails, walks over to the table, and then you see a hand, which clearly doesn't have long nails, but then he has long nails. And
Was his
then,
hand double?
and then they go off to the consoles, and then sort of about 30 seconds later, his nails have shrunk back to normal again. I don't know if he just whipped a manicure set out or something. But...
I think just in that, seconds, Deanna just whipped one out and just was like, whoosh, and just... yeah.
I guess she did.
Or maybe Data. Maybe Data did it, because Data can do do things really fast. Maybe he did it like super speedy. Yeah.
Maybe. So yeah. So those are the things from that scene. I think we have most answers in.
We do.
Everybody seems to have gone for C and starboard.
Are you covered in C's, Sean?
I'm covered in C's. All the men have given me C's. 50, and it was starboard. Or right, if you like.
Many people on the wheel then.
Many people.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I was looking when they were saying that one of the engines was empty. These general shuttlecrafts, especially the runabout, they have fuel cells that last longer than 47 days.
Andrew?
And Andrew.
Yeah, you would think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Maz.
6. And Maz, yeah, that's it. That's all of them.
That's
Well,
all.
no, a runabout it.
6
A
people
runabout.
plus Wookiee.
Well, if you think about it, a runabout you'd never be designed to stay on a runabout for 47 days, without a break. That's far too long. So I wouldn't think they need to cover those kind of distances.
Well, I mean, like, if you're stranded or there's some sort of accident, you wouldn't want your life support to probably give out because they only fuel the computer.
That's a fair point.
Ruthie, baby!
Good, Rick.
That's a stupid question.
What a move.
Oh, the Admiral Patrick. I like it.
Admiral Bryce.
Okay. Act 2. Data reports that the two ships are trapped in a giant temporal fragment. Troi notes damage to the Enterprise port nacelle, and Picard questions what energy beam is emitting from the Enterprise main deflector. That confused me a little bit because during this whole episode, it kind of gets emitted from the middle of the neck, from a window, like someone's shooting a phaser out of a window.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually out of the deflector dish. Yeah.
He says it's coming from the deflector dish, but on every shot you can clearly see it is not. So I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if the effects people just didn't get the memo. Thought
I
someone's hanging out of the window with a
could
phaser.
shoot it out of the phaser arrays. It would make a certain kind of sense because it is shooting power out. But
It's not
you
coming from a
possibly could do it
phaser
that
array
way.
though either. It's coming from a window.
No,
on the neck.
no. Either of those would make sense, but no, not where it's coming from.
No. Anyway, we'll ignore that. Except for every time I see it, I'm going to mention it. But apart from that, we won't talk about it. So, yes, it's coming from the main deflector array, which isn't. But yes, we're moving on. Moving on. Data cannot determine from this distance, but notes that it is concentrated on the Warbird's engineering section. So they decide to beam over to the Enterprise, but to do that they will need protection from the temporal field, like that which they used on Davidia 2. Have you got any questions about that, Sean?
I do actually, yes.
I might not talk about that any further.
Yeah,
but as Geordie
you can leave
notes,
that one. Thank you.
the phase discriminator would have to be very sensitive, so Data recommends the emergency transport armbands could be modified to do the same job. Good old Data. Get to work, my man. Geordie finishes tinkering. Once Data's done his thing, Geordie finishes tinkering with them and tells them that they have 1 hour, maybe less, before they fail.
That
he
looks
says,
like it tingled.
it does, doesn't it? It looks like a bit of a tingly. They have to have the field really close to their skin so that they can possibly touch objects without, breaking the field. I don't know. He sets them all up and tells them not to worry because he's going to be staying behind and he'll be closely monitoring them. It's like, oh, thanks, Geordie. Thanks. Makes me feel a whole lot better that you're staying behind. Yeah. And then he beams them all directly to the bridge. On beaming into the bridge, they note several things. One, there's 3 Romulans on the bridge. One of them here is at Con. Blast marks are all over the place, which is interesting. And all the Romulans have disruptors. Riker's on the floor, on his back, with a Romulan standing over him, which greatly concerns Troi. Whilst none of the systems are working, Data can determine from the information on the display that there's a massive power surge in engineering. I love the way he goes around the bridge, kind of like curiously looking at people. He's like,
oh, he looks so handsome in that one because you can see the length of his hair puff out, and he always looks great when his hair is disheveled. This has nothing to do with the story. I'm quiet now.
It's amazing how she keeps a straight face. I wonder how many outtakes they were from this, from him rushing up to her and then leaning in, she just stays there not moving a muscle. Pretty cool. So Picard goes to tactical, where Worf normally stands, and reads that the security team have gone to the transporter room, sick bay, so he orders Data to check out engineering, Troi to check out sick bay, and he will check the transporter room. He signals to Geordie to transport them to these locations, but LaForge is not keen as he only has a limited power supply, so they decide that they're going to use the Jeffries tube. One thing I didn't understand a little bit on this bit, and maybe you can correct me, Maz, or maybe you don't have anything about it. Data gave his information because he said, everything's frozen in time, so you can't use anything, but he just read off a screen. But Picard goes there and pushes some buttons, and you hear beep, beep, beep,
even
beep.
when Data's at his and he says it's not working, you see him jab something and it goes beep. And then you see Picard come over here and starts touching buttons and it goes beep, 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 and he pulls some information up.
Yeah.
So it's just listed as a goof that they say it's not working, and then clearly they're jabbing buttons and it's responding and giving them information. So
I think the special effects guy missed that and just started putting stuff in.
Sorry, I've just got to address something Tavykins has said in chat. Sorry. Unpopular opinion. She really likes the Romulan uniforms.
I do. They look so nice.
I think, that's certainly an unpopular opinion by me. Yeah. I mean, the shoulder pads are out here. They look like something a soap opera person in the 80s. Like Joan Collins.
It's like Dynasty. Joan Collins in Dynasty. Yeah, exactly. And then the sleeves are too short, and then got those silly pants.
They've got an undershirt. The sleeves are meant to be high.
And look how short the trousers are.
Yeah, but they've got boots. They've got those rubber boots.
And it's all grey. Different shades of grey.
Nice. I like it. Because, women and men alike, they've got that power thing going on. Because, there's never an issue like Deanna Troi was having where, she's just the booby character. All of the Romulaners are like, bam, bam, power.
Bam.
I don't know.
Check these shoulders out. Bang, bang, bang.
It's it's so it's hardcore. Happiness!
Hi, Mr. T.
Does anybody remember that general from what was he called? I've mentioned him before on this stream, actually. Kenny Everett's show. Does anybody remember the character he used to have? He was like a general, and he had massive shoulder pads because he had loads of medals going off. It was massive.
You ever see the North Korean uniforms and the generals have them all down their pants? Their sleeves and everything.
Yeah, and they have these massive hats.
Like, and the rest of the world only has 4-star generals, so they've got 5-star and 6-star generals. You know, just because
They turn it up to 11. Yeah.
Just gonna say one louder, yeah.
In the best possible taste. Yes. Yes. So, so they go to the Jeffries tubes and they climb down the Jeffries tubes. Before they go down the Jeffries tubes, we had this shot of the Enterprise, which I thought looked especially cool. And again, you can see the beam coming out of like a window on the neck. And ironically, seems to be going into the front of the nose of the Romulan warbird.
Is that where engineering is?
That where engineering is? I don't think it is, but anyway, ignore that. We'll ignore that and never mention it again until later on when I'll probably mention it again. So anyway, they're going through the Jeffries tube and they come across a bunch of lower deckers blocking the tunnel. Troi wants to stamp him out of the way, but Picard's like, no, we'll find another way around. We shall find another route.
It would be better if they just came across people like, boinking in the...
That's right, yeah. Jeffries tube.
Getting a bit of private time.
Bottom.
Like, I'm not on trip right now.
Yeah. I'm sure that happens. I'm pretty sure that happens. Yep. There we go. Boing. I thought, where's my boing? It's not there.
Supposed to be. Oh my.
Oh my. Anyway, they shall not pass. So they find another way, and Troi heads to sick bay. She nearly bumps into crew members in the corridor. I have to say, this actress did a really good job of standing still.
Nailed it.
Because she went around the corner, nearly ran straight into her, and she didn't flinch. She didn't move an eye muscle.
Oh yeah, there's lots of wobbling all over this episode of people's hands moving and things.
I didn't think it was too bad, actually. I mean,
I thought they did a really good job,
but I thought it was actually really quite good. Yeah, like they'd all gone some sort of special intensive training course on how to stay really, really still.
I think if you
see the breathing either.
If you stare at somebody's hand or something,
you find a mark and you stare at it, and
you can see it.
You don't breathe.
But then a lot of them had their hand on a console or something. This is why I think they positioned people very clever to try and minimize that as much as possible.
Yeah.
And
But
so
if you're just watching the action in the scene, if you're just watching the general action, they look perfect. It's only if you are looking at that finger or whatever just to see it twitch. Yeah. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Did you make her? Could you hold out as well as the other actor? She said she tried holding
saying she was trying not to blink for as long as the actors needed to.
That's very good.
Then that's like I don't know if you guys have seen that Wednesday series, but the actress, what she called Thea Ortega, Wednesday doesn't blink.
No.
And it gave her some problems as an actress. Like at first it wasn't so bad, but after like a few weeks of extended periods of not blinking, she started getting some problems with her eyes. So we need to blink, people.
Yeah. So yes, Troy's heading to sick bay. When she arrives, she finds that Beverly is in the process of being shot by a Romulan, which is not good. So she goes and rushes to get the captain. But in her haste, she fails to notice that one of the Romulans is not frozen in time. Do
note where that Romulan is standing in the last photo.
It's that person here, I think.
Apparently, the guy that's shooting is somehow missing her
in between them.
Well, I think Beverly was over here, maybe, and I think the Romulan was here. But I think then the Romulan probably moved Beverly over to here.
She said Beverly got in the way, and I'm like,
It looks like Beverly maybe was trying to hold her, and maybe.
But you can imagine. Oh yes, I think
maybe there was like a struggle. Yeah.
Yes,
but that doesn't bring up the bigger problem, because if you've seen the end of the episode, sorry, spoilers. Why would you beam Romulans on and let them keep the disruptors? I
Well,
understand a humanitarian. You don't give them their weapons.
not throughout the
Well,
flagship.
the other ones that
no.
were beaming over didn't have them, so I don't know
No.
how you did, but
He did, and
Where
Well,
did
I
they
mean,
come
they
from?
did.
It's not a
They didn't
phaser.
have their shields up.
why are they all over the bridge with their disruptors? It's a bit weird.
yeah, the people being beamed to sick bay don't have them, but
No.
for whatever reason, him and the people on the bridge do.
Yeah. So yeah, I just assumed that they were struggling. He went to shoot the alien, but then the alien walked off, and this phaser, which was probably beamed to here at the beginning, although time's
Made
moving
its way.
slowly, it's not stopped, is it? So it's been gradually making its way to her, and is now yeah, it looks a really good effect actually, because it looks like it's gone like through her almost. Like it's a pretty good graphic anyway. But yes, that's the alien, the person that's not stuck in time, the Romulan. So we've probably got some facts about that person. We've seen her before. Patricia, I think her name is.
Talman, yeah.
Talman, Patricia Talman. We know her as the telepath from Babylon 5, and
Lita Alexander.
stunt woman extraordinaire for Star Trek. Yes, and anyway, that was the end of Act 2. So it's question time.
Okay, so the first question, and thank you for not saying it, Monty. Picard mentions the subspace isolation field using the video tree, but what episode was this from? Was it A, time squared, B, cause and effect, C, a matter of time, or D, times arrow? And the bonus question, what does Picard ask Data to scan for? One of his favourite activities.
Yeah.
And the background is Coruscant from Star Wars, Tavi, since you're asking.
Okay.
But yeah, that's just a random Zoom background, but it's pretty damn cool, so I like it.
It's pretty good. I like it, yeah. So, what you got for us?
Where are we? So, just at the beginning of this scene where you've got the two ships frozen in time.
Yeah.
Although they're still, the stars
Yeah.
in the background are kind of moving. And I get that,
Yeah.
the stars
Where
wouldn't,
is it?
they would kind of eventually move. But the speed that they move, it felt a bit odd. Like,
It's because the
move that
camera's
fast?
moving in relation to the. It's to show that it is a frozen in time thing, rather than having the whole thing.
They just did it for.
It's for 3D effect,
Yeah, right. Okay, I see. I was just like, the stars don't move that fast, surely. Yeah. Anyway, Troy actually mentioned some damage on the port nacelle, but from the exterior shots, we can't really see any damage on the nacelles. We can see on one of the shots some quite significant damage on the saucer section.
On the front of the saucer, yeah.
Yeah, but I can't see any damage on the nacelles, so not sure about that one. This episode features the second and final use of the emergency transporter armbands on TNG, the first being in Best of Both Worlds Part 2, and they are later used in Visionary. Also, during this episode, that's the question about which episode he's referencing regarding Davidia 2. And they also reference the episode Face of the Enemy when they're sort of saying, that's a bit later on though, when they're saying about the fact that Troi knows about Romulan warbirds from her time when she went undercover. What else?
Actually, I do have an extra bit on that. Because I've seen some of the convention, chats that some of the actresses have, and they tend to use the same stories over and over again when you go to one convention or another. But the one that Marina always comes back to is this episode, and referring to the fact that she's giving a lecture to Geordi and Data on the engineering of a Romulan warbird. So the counselor is telling the chief engineer and the chief nerd, and the operations officer and science officer double, how it works. And now that both of them don't really know that, and it's a fairly basic fact. There's not even it's not any way obscure. It's like, what type of engine does it have? Like, it's like asking if a car is a diesel or a petrol. It's not any way complicated.
Yeah, and she also says that in terms of that convention appearance you're talking about, that once she got her blue uniform, it was as if she was allowed to show more intelligence as a character on the show. But she still thinks it's absurd that she would have known more than Geordie or Data.
And she also said it.
And I know.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, it also said that it took her like 2 days to learn that line. She had to like repeat it to herself. And even now, 30 years later, she can still quote it word for word perfectly, and it's the only line she remembers because she had to work so hard to remember it. Sorry, please continue.
Sorry, I did zone out a little bit, but I took it that it was because she spent time as a Romulan.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
They said that she might have known about the engines because of the time when she was posed as a member of the Tal Shiar. But her mission, none of it would have involved the Warbird's engine room. For her
it's nice to see like her with her rank in command for a change and like ordering people about. I know it's a bit silly, but it was just good to see. I like that.
That's it. It's just it is explained, but the fact that she would know more than Geordie or Data about Romulan technology just seems a bit bizarre. But they did have a reason for it at least, so that's fine. What else? Obviously the Enterprise is not frozen in time; it's moving really slowly, and Picard's able to move objects, and it's really difficult to kind of picture what that would be like in real life, but probably there would be some resistance to those things moving. They might be able to move, but you think it would be quite difficult to.
I'm imagining like he puts his hand on it and then the shield thing that's around him then like envelops the thing, so puts it in his temporal
that could work,
thing, so then he can move it, and then when he moves away it goes back in the
it becomes relative to his time.
It's relative to his temporal bubble that he's emitting. That's the way I was taking it, but I know it's a bit odd.
Yeah, that makes logical sense.
Can I just
talked about the fact that the panels seem to be working, even though today it said they weren't. And Patricia Tallman, this is her third and final on-screen appearance of the series, and obviously then she goes on to play Lita Alexander, as we mentioned.
Yeah. She has a lot of uncredited roles just as background stunt woman. She's
not credited in this one.
No.
Not on IMDb anyway.
Just want to give a Christmas check out. Look at him. Look. He's giving little snores. He is in the background.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Chewy.
He can't hear you because you're in your head.
Oh yeah, I'm in your ears.
You're in my ears, but just for the Chewy appreciation site out there, our good little boy. Look at him. Oh. Anyway,
Cute.
There we go.
Little floofer.
Little floofy. Okay, so answers, Sean, for the question.
Answers, yeah, absolutely. So it was Time's Arrow, and yes, he was asking him to scan for
life forms.
Those tiny little life forms. Yeah. It gave me a chuckle. I had to throw it in.
Yeah. All 6 people got both right.
Right, all 6. So that's the same as last time, isn't it? I can just spin the wheel. Is that right? Am I doing it right?
You can spinny winny.
I just want to point out, Smiler said earlier on that the no blinking thing is like when she's playing computer games. I got a reminder to blink because she gets involved in a computer game she's playing, and she's just like that. It's like when she's driving as well. I can always tell when she's like too into the driving because her knuckles have gone white. She's like that. I don't know.
I'm a bit like that when I'm driving, but I don't imagine Milo playing computer games.
You were doing an impression of what's the name of that comedian? Man, there's a Cooper. What's his name?
Tommy
Cooper. He was like just like that.
just like that. Just like that. Yeah.
We've lost Tabby. Sorry, Tabby.
Oh, absolute legend. An absolute legend. Right, spinning the wheel. Do 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 do. Oh Maz, oh Maz.
Ooh.
It's Maz.
Oh,
By a hair's breadth.
The wheel is sharing the love this evening, isn't it? It's not sharing the love anywhere in my direction, but it's sharing the
spreading
love.
it about a bit.
I have noticed actually. I don't know. The interface seems to have changed slightly. It's got like you can add images and there's an advanced search and things now. All that is.
Oh, so you could put photos of people on it, maybe.
Got
or
other
something.
pages on.
I'll have to check that out later and see what that means. Yeah.
Wookie is asking, where's Chewbacca's Christmas hat?
Well, we haven't got him a Christmas hat, but he has got antlers. We have got
He's
doggy
got some gay
antlers.
apparel.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was talking about the one sat next to Sean.
Oh,
been either.
I can do that. Actually, yeah, I can do that. Hold on, give me a minute.
Oh, where's Chewbacca? Yeah, there you go. Sorry, yeah, sorry.
Who knows which one he's
Oh,
talking about?
I
dog
lost
version.
that. I lost that context. But give me a second. I can do that.
Yeah, Chewie's got he's got antlers. He doesn't like wearing them. We've taken some photos with him, but Sean's going to put a hat on the Chewbacca. There we go. See, you ask for and we deliver, Wookie. Every week on, week out, you demand and we deliver. That's the way it goes.
This is the
We
first
are
time I
your
figured out how
puppets.
to use layers
Yes.
in OBS.
Make me dance. There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey!
Hold on, actually, I need to.
A Christmas Chewbacca. Brilliant. Okay, we're on to Act 3. Let me just do, before we start the Act 3, I'm just having a check. And, okay. Still 0-0, 10 men, not bad. And Act 3. New picture. We're in the transporter room. And Picard finds that there's 3 unarmed Romulans on the transport pad, and Worf is at the controls. He also finds that they transported another 3 to sickbay. Picard thinks that this is all damn peculiar, that there are these unarmed Romulans being beamed onto the Enterprise during a battle with the Romulans. It's not the way things normally go.
And I think he could have easily gone. There's definitely something not going on because there's no way Worf would give up the opportunity to start blasting on Romulans.
So Troi enters and tells him about Dr. Crusher. So then they get summoned to engineering by Data. Data shows them that the Enterprise is currently dealing with a warp core breach. It's in progress. And the
Can you
breach...
just move off that photo of Brent really quickly? Because I don't think he looks well in that one, and I'm sure Mazza wants that one gone.
What?
What?
Excuse me.
I would say I don't think she likes that photo. I think we.
What, Tavi?
Yeah. Tavi doesn't like that photo of Brent. No, that's not a good one.
Oh, I'll
I love
remove
that
it.
photo.
I'll remove it.
John, do not make me travel to your house and beat you in your sleep.
So yes, Data points out that they're in the middle of a warp core breach that's increasing and irreversible. There's no way of stopping it, which is a bummer, quite frankly. Damn it.
Maybe a bit strange, but I love the bags that are under Brent Spiner's eyes. I don't know. They just fit his face so well.
Sometimes you just cross a small line, not a big line, just
What?
like a little like.
What?
How could you be liking bags under eyes?
Look at that. Look how it looks on his face. It gives him character. It looks like a dimple almost, but it just accents the arc and the socket of his eyes. They look good on him.
Let's go back to Worf. You say he looks like a wax figure.
He looks like a wax figure. Like you see in the wax museums.
Yeah.
Like even like his hand and his
Madame
makeup is like
Tussauds.
different color.
Oh, bless him.
He looks like he's smiling.
He does look happy doing whatever he's doing.
Well,
He likes
It's
seeing the
about
Romulans suffer, I
Maybe
think.
it's about the shoot Romulans.
He's just smirking at the
Again-
Romulans being beamed aboard in a suffering state, and he's like, "Whoa."
Pathetic.
I'm just going to say, going back to convention stories, Michael tells a story about how he got to take an hour off his makeup because he kept pitching if they made it shorter, it saved money. But one of the things they used to do was the headpiece was a particular shade of brown, and they were painting him to match the headpiece, and his had to match his hands and his face all over and put makeup all over the thing. And they said, well, why don't you just match the headpiece to me instead of matching me to the headpiece? So the first couple of seasons he's darker than he is in the later ones because they're using his natural skin tone in later seasons.
Cool.
Oh, Monty's someone scored Monty, did they?
No, they haven't, but I've just noticed it's 73% possession to 27% possession to us.
Oof.
So that's not good. That's not a good omen, is it? In the last 20 minutes. It's like, oh
One of
dear.
these days I'll introduce you to a game of hurling. A good game in 70 minutes could have nearly 60 scores. It's relentless.
Okay, so Picard wants to know how to stop it, but Data's like, that's no longer a question of stopping it. It's just a case of it's happening really slowly. So it makes them realise that time's not stood still because Data, the speed that the warp core is erupting is within Data's sphere of comprehension, and he can see time progressing just at a really slow rate. So Data suspects it's in relation to the power transfer between the two ships. So they need to go to the warbird and see what's happening on that end. And as they're talking, Picard starts laughing. And when they look at him to see what he's laughing about, they find he's drawn a smiley face in the warp core breach. There he is, look. Look at the smiley face. I have to say, he does a
Just love that.
bang-up job of drawing a smiley face. It's so neat. Like, if I tried that in that
so
smoke,
funny.
like, it would not look anything like that. It would look horrific.
When I was looking at this, and I'm like, you just put your hand in the steam of a reactor. Shouldn't that burn the living crap out of his hand? That's an explosion.
Yes, you would think.
Yeah.
And
And
I know
moving slowly, it is still superheated warp plasma, so his finger should have been vaporized.
I love the lighting in with the last photo with Deanna and Data, because the room has this blue glow to it, and just with the composition of it, you see Data on one side with his gold, and then the top of him is just brushed off with this blue, and then it goes down to the other corner of the screen, and you see the blue of her uniform. I thought it just flowed really well, and then the warm color behind her blends in with Data. Just a nice X composition. I know it's
Beautifully
usually
shot.
someone else talking about lighting, but I enjoyed that shot. That's a colorful.
I was just gonna, if you go back forward to the next shot again, I was just gonna say, energy is generally defined as the vibration of particles or the vibration of atoms or vibrations of strings if you're getting into string theory. But if time was stopped, they wouldn't be vibrating because because they're frozen. So therefore there wouldn't be, well, maybe it's not stopped, it's moving very slowly. So there wouldn't be as much energy to hit you if time is greatly slowed. So maybe that gives you an explanation why it would work.
I thought
In a
about
very
I,
loose-
I actually thought about all that, Sean. But then I
you
also
did?
thought
Okay.
that my other theory was that the shield thing around him has to envelop the thing to actually be able to move it.
Yeah,
and also
those
be
are mutually
immovable.
exclusive ideas.
So
Yeah.
it would bring it into his time, so it should still burn him.
Yeah, one of those can be true, but not both. Yeah, I
Not
agree with
both.
that.
It's got to be one or the other, isn't it? You know, it's either not moving, in case it's not movable, or
Yeah.
it's put into a moving state, in which case it would burn you.
Yeah, I take your point. Okay, we just don't know. We'll have to just wipe that away.
This episode is a whole bunch of befuddled science ideas that aren't very coherent.
Yeah.
But it's still fun.
Timey-wimey things are always a bit that way,
Timey-wimey
though, aren't
things.
they?
Yeah, I'm
It
working
never
very
really
hard to
works in
explain them away.
Picard's losing it. There's another great shot of him losing it.
That acting he did in that scene was particularly good. Because he went from
Really good.
the
He went
laughing
from like
and then
deliriously
the way
happy
he
to
was-
like freaked out, like proper freaked out, like wanting to get out of his skin type thing. And so they transport him back to the runabout and get him out of his armband.
I've never seen him so joyous.
Yeah, data surmises that in the same way that deep sea divers experience nitrogen narcosis, Picard experienced temporal narcosis. So that rules out his trip to the warbird. So Data, LaForge, and Troi go instead, leaving Picard on the runabout. When they arrive on the warbird, Troi tells Geordi where to find the power utilization module and directs Data to a wall display for him to interpret. And Data tells her that the warbird isn't at battle stations at all, but is actually evacuating. And then Geordi finds that there's an energy feedback through the energy transfer beam. I made note here that I actually liked that. I liked the fact that they beamed over and as chief officer, she took control and told them what they were doing. And I think that's fine. They can know more than her, but
Well, she's
she still
lieutenant
needs to give
commander,
the
and
orders.
And Data was a lieutenant commander before, so he should still be, and he's third officer. Sorry, second officer. He's after Picard, he's number 2, and Riker, he's in charge. In the general order of things. I think Geordi is third officer. So yeah, she's way down the list.
No, but she's the same rank as Data, isn't she?
But Data's been that rank 5 years longer than her. Plus, he's the second officer.
On the Enterprise, yes, but you don't know. Picard might have put her in charge of this away mission.
Maybe he did. Maybe
They're the same rank, so she assumed command, as is her rank. So that's fine. I liked it. So they find the energy core is inactive. When they take a look at the energy core, they find that an aperture in space. They find an aperture in the space-time continuum, which apparently is a bad thing. The energy signals matches the temporal fragments that they've been seeing all over this sector. Troi spots some dark spots floating about in the aperture, and Data reports that they are complex bioelectric patterns, possibly forms of life. They then experience fluctuations in the aperture, and the time around them returns to normal. We don't have any mistletoe, Wookiee. No, unfortunately not.
Yeah, he wants you to put mistletoe in between you, Sean, and kiss Wookiee next
You
time.
have no idea how hard it is to find ping images online that actually work. But I'll try. Give me a minute.
Dance, Sean,
They generally
dance.
turned out to be false images. But I'll find. Give me a minute.
While he's doing that, I one of the things that hit me, even though we've seen a Romulan ship before, is they say that their engines are run by artificial singularities. I'm thinking, are you saying that's a black hole you made?
Yes.
But at the same time, I'm going, how is it moving? How are you making the black hole move?
Well,
It's like,
Well, everything is relative in space. Who's to say the black hole is moving? Who's to say the universe isn't moving around the black hole?
it creates
wanna
like a
blame
warp
everyone.
field and you move space around you. That's how warp
Yeah.
engines work.
Exactly.
Technically, you're not moving. You're warping space around you. But
can you imagine?
it
You're
could
doing
be-
this in space, you're just going like a snow globe while you're traveling.
But do you know how happy teenage me was after learning this piece of information and then making my friends watch old episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation, and when a warbird comes up going, did you know that warbird there is powered by an artificial singularity that's technically a black hole? It made teenage geek me so happy to pass on that information to my mates who couldn't give a shit.
Nerd.
Yeah.
I know, but I was happy about it, you know. So we're Star Trek fans everywhere. We love that little bit of information. It makes us happy.
And of course, there's also a white hole.
Yes, yes.
As
So
in
what is it?
mentioned in a TV show.
Yeah. We've already done Red Dwarf references.
Oh, we already did Red Dwarf. Sorry,
We've
I was
already
going to
done
tease
Red
that one
Dwarf
out. No, I just
references,
remembered. Yeah.
There's
So
also
what
a
is
brown
it?
hole.
That time I was
When it's
messing.
bleached.
Bleached.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Oh my. Okay, so what happened? Oh yes. So after he scanned the aperture, normal time resumed around them. Panics erupted in the Romulan warbird's engineering section as Romulans run around trying to shut off the power transfer. But another Romulan enters and notices the Starfleet officers and hides from them. He looks well sus. On the runabout, Picard looks on as he watches his ship explode and then recoalesce, and time returns to its previously stuck position. But as we already worked out that it wasn't stuck, time was moving slowly. Did it go back to like? I guess it went back to the point where Data scanned the aperture, but yeah. Why it went forward so far and then went back, nobody knows, but it did. But we're glad that the Enterprise is not destroyed, and it's the end of the act and question time.
Sean trying to kiss Wookiee.
We want to see
I was
this now.
I was doing a bit of Wookiee under the mistletoe, but I have to
Before
reset
question
back to
time,
that.
Sean, no. Before question time, Sean.
I'm back.
You gotta kiss the Wookiee.
Okay, so what
he's
does
not
the
kissing the
Romulan
Wookiee.
ship use as a power source? A, a ZPM, B, Nequita generator, C, fusion reactor, or D, quantum singularity? And the bonus question: Nemesis is 21 today. Who can tell me what data? What song Data sung for us? Excuse me, the question's written wrong.
Nemesis is 21.
Today, yes. It was released in Christmas 2002, and we were
Christ.
although, to be fair, by the time it came to the UK and Ireland, it was probably like February the following year. So, but it released in the US 21 years ago today. Yeah.
Wow, that's mental. Not that I don't believe you. But I'm just checking.
I know, yeah. But there you go. Anyway, when I see an anniversary, I like to throw it in.
Jesus. That's mental, isn't it?
I'll tell you it was an Irving Berlin song. I don't know if that helps anybody.
I'm giving hints.
Probably doesn't. It seems so fresh in our minds because we watch them so often. Sorry, I'll just shut up in 2 seconds. But, because we watch them so often. But, yeah, it is 21 years ago. I just pull out a random trivia question and ask you. Sorry, Mazza, please go ahead.
So, we've already covered some of the things, like whether or not the poking his finger into the plasma would burn, and about Troi having knowledge or not of the Romulan warbird. Also, I mean, it's just personal observation, but just as they beam over, Geordie kind of grabs his phaser, and both Data and Deanna kind of go, "Whoa, boy, calm, calm." It's like, was he about to just start shooting inanimate Romulans?
It's Romulan.
But yeah, he looked like he was about to shoot somebody. So, you didn't say anything about the explosion, did you, Monty Van? This is a good shot, though. This is the perfect shot for this piece of trivia.
Oh, I know.
So,
I know it. I think this is not the first time we've seen the Enterprise blow up in TNG.
No.
Can't be.
Is it, no.
It's all cause and effect and loads of times.
Well, I think there's a third. Cause and effect.
I think...
And
This is the third time we've seen the Enterprise D blow up.
Icarus Factor.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Oh, okay.
Previous two
Well, up
occasions
in that
were
warp
also...
episode. Have we seen that one yet?
Yeah.
What episode?
Well,
Where Worf
Sure, just
keeps phasing through time on his birthday.
Oh no, that has to come up yet.
no, that hasn't come up yet, that one.
All right.
I forget parallels. Yeah, it hasn't come up
Parallels.
yet.
We see the Enterprise get destroyed and all good things as well, I suppose, in a way. But this is the third time so far.
There was cause and effect
Yeah. And
time squared.
time squared, was it?
Yeah.
Which, funnily enough, I used both of those in the same question earlier, and they're both time travel episodes.
Well, and that's
And
why
I
you
use
can
both.
see the Enterprise blow up, but it doesn't mean anything.
Well, yeah, I suppose there has to be a time travel episode for the Enterprise.
Yeah.
And Tavi, no, I finished drinking out of the teacup, but I was earlier. I'm just drinking the beer now. But also, like, you'd expect the explosion to come from engineering. That seems to be Shuttle Bay 1. Strange place for an explosion to be coming from.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
That was
Arboretum blew
what I
up.
was gonna
Oh,
say.
sorry, Maz, I stole your point. Sorry.
No, that's what I thought Montyman was going to say, because this was the perfect shot for showing it. But I mean, it's supposed to be blowing up from a warp core breach, so where should the explosion be?
Yeah.
Oh, well, shall I get a bit
somewhere
nerdy about
between-
it? Shall I get a little
Not
nerdy
top back
about
of the
it?
sorter section.
Well, the warp core does go up the neck there. So I suppose, possibly, if the warp core blew out the top, it might come out like the back of the neck. So create that kind of explosion. I guess, possibly. But it happens so fast that you know. It just looks like the Arboretum blew up, didn't it, first?
Yeah, it's a strange
I mean, the explosion
choice.
had already begun in engineering, so it's unlikely it would.
No.
The main brunt of it would come out from some other sort of point. But
No.
anyway, there's also a secondary explosion point that we can see from the forward starboard saucer section as well, which also might be unlikely, but who knows? And as we just mentioned, third time the Enterprise D is destroyed. This is also the second time that we see the Enterprise D supplying a Romulan vessel with power via a power transfer beam, with the first being in the next phase.
On the bright side, from this angle, it looks like they did get it looking roughly right from the deflector array.
True.
And I do like the external lighting coming from outside the cockpit onto Picard. The lighting is done well. The sets don't hold up in HD at all with the tactical tape, but the lighting's done well.
Right, so answers to the questions.
Yeah, so it was...
Everybody says D.
D, yeah. What's ZPM? What's that? Anyone want to tell me? The ancient power source from Stargate. Naquita generator, also from Stargate, but a slightly less powerful version. Fusion reactor could be from anything. There's many fusion reactors, but yeah, quantum singularity. But the ZPM is technically a quantum singularity. It just, what do you know? Sometimes you just need a question.
And
And then it's just
sorry, the
Tavi
second-
and Ruth
Tabby and Ruth.
for the wheel.
And yes, the answer
Assuming
was
Blue Skies was correct.
correct. Yeah. Never saw the sun shining so bright. Never saw things going so right.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh yeah.
Noticing the days
That was
hurrying
it.
by. When you're in love, my how they fly.
Spinning the wheel. Doo-doop, doop, doop, doo-doop, doop, 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 doop,
Although-
doop.
And she won on the data question. Oh, skin of your teeth.
That
Ooh, so close. But we couldn't let you lose on the data question.
I can't even
Although
zoom
they
in.
do-
No matter what I do to my browser, it doesn't. It keeps the wheel at the same size.
If you press F11 so it goes full screen, does it do anything?
No,
And you control
no,
it?
I can't do that. I've got too much things on my screen to mess up the format of it all.
Control and scroll. If you control and scroll forward, does that do anything?
Yeah, I tried that out.
No. Okay. So the artifact that's the wheel stays the same size.
Stays the
Everything
same,
else
yeah.
moves. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, Act 4. Motoring on. Just quick check. 86 minutes 0-0.
Sorry, Tammy's saying blind guy with a gun, but Geordie quite clearly has a phaser on him. He's a blind guy.
That's true. So Data thinks he may have accidentally triggered all the shenanigans with his tricorder when he scanned the aperture. So he's decided he's not going to do that again. Because the Enterprise is going to blow up. That'd be a bad thing. So Geordie goes to check the engineering console, but then notices there's another Romulan appeared that wasn't there before. But before he can react, the Romulan grabs him, breaking his temporal shield and causing Geordie to go into shock. And here's a picture of him grabbing him. Would you like if you thought like the Romulan was a bit odd? Would you just like turn your back on him and go, "Hey, excuse me, lads, was this Romulan here before?"
I definitely would have moved out of the way before I said that.
It's like, not the brightest of moves. So
Or you could have just said, "Data, train your phaser while at work," or some such thing.
Something like that. They don't have time to fix him. They don't have Beverly or anything there, so they remove his armband. So time effectively stops for him, and they can fix him later. Data scans the Romulan and finds that, well, basically he isn't one. He's some sort of alien. More alien than a Romulan. So they take him back to the runabout, and they find that his bioelectrical patterns are in temporal flux. He doesn't appear to belong in this time continuum at all. So Data compares... Sorry, go on.
I'd just say, I like how they placed him on the hard table instead of the perfectly comfortable couch right behind them.
Yeah, I don't think he's on a table, is he?
No,
on
it's a
some
table.
kind of
They were all
bed.
sitting on with the fruit on it earlier.
You get no comfort in space.
It seems very
Also,
low now. It seems very low.
Also, I forgot to mention this earlier. The fruit, when they cut back to it between shots, it actually rots more depending on when you look at it, and they cut back a few times. Minor detail, and it's very hard to notice, but it's really good that the director made a point of doing that.
Yes.
It's got to be compost by the end of the scene.
Woo! There's a Data pic.
I know, his schnoz is just blowing it up.
Look at his big lanky ass long arms. Big left.
Woo! Ooh. I'm actually drooling a little bit. Continue.
So Data compares the data he scanned the aperture and finds that the organic matter inside the aperture matches the Romulan alien thing. Though the cells are in a state of cellular mitosis.
I thought that was illegal in the Federation.
Well, no, Romulan alien. Yeah. Picard realizes that the dark dots inside the aperture could be some kind of embryo. And then the alien wakes up and tells them that he assumed this form, taking over this Romulan body, so he could exist in their time. He's trying to protect his young... I say him. I mean, it's a him Romulan. I don't want to assume
the form of it. Yeah,
gender of the temporal alien. But anyway, they mistook the Romulan warp core, which has an artificial singularity, for a natural gravity well, i.e. a black hole. But as they built their nest, they had to shut down the engine core. Picard realizes that the Enterprise had arrived, seen a Romulan vessel in distress, offered to send them power to kickstart their engine core and try to revive it, and the energy instead interacted with the alien nest inside the singularity and started this whole time rupture shenanigans business. The alien pleads for help to send their young back to their time and tells them that there is one other on the Enterprise that can help, but then he disappears. And that is the end of Act 4. And another question time!
Yeah, this episode is weird. It has a really long teaser, and the acts just keep getting shorter as the episode goes on.
Yeah.
But so it does have a... Oh, I'm after copying that. the wrong way. Okay, excuse me. So, first question. No options for this. The emissions from what device the data was using caused the time to reverse? So, yeah, it's fairly obvious when you think about it. I couldn't give you options on that one. And then the bonus question, just to mess up the order. Which character did Neil Patrick Harris play in the most recent Doctor Who episode? A, the Master, B, Rassilon, C, the Valeyard, or D, the Toymaker?
Excuse
Sean,
me, you
what the F?
Oh, it was so good though. I will say
I know the answer. Actually, I know the answer just because I read things. But what the?
Well,
What kind of question is that?
what's lovely though is I was wondering if he was gonna pull one of these chief calls. It's another one. I'll only put it in. Trivia has been set to stun.
Okay, yeah, sometimes throw in a wild one. I will say Neil Patrick Harris was fantastic, and if ever they ever want to recast Q after that episode, I am 100% sure that he will be the best Q you've ever seen. He has a scene where he basically, with godlike powers, comes into a room and jumps around to spice up your life and lip syncs it and dances with everyone, and it's the most fantastic thing I've ever seen on film. It was just brilliant.
You're fired.
I haven't seen it, Sean. I haven't seen it.
You've had
I haven't
5
got a
days. It's
TV
great.
license. I can't watch the BBC. So, I was
got
going
your home
to.
TV?
I was going to re-get my TV license, knowing that Tenants come back and all that. I was going, and then I read the reviews and thought, oh no, I'm not going to.
Well, I'm loving it. Yeah, okay, suit yourself. But yeah, I think it's fantastic. But I'll tell you a weird thing while people are answering questions. They've decided that Disney will have the rights for Doctor Who everywhere except for the UK and Ireland. And there's a funny thing, because we can't access the iPlayer in Ireland, because funny enough, we're not in Britain. So we're the only country in the world where you cannot legally watch it back. If you have terrestrial television, you can see the BBC. But other than that, you're basically forced to pirate it. So, me mateys.
Well, Disney did such a good job with Star Wars and Marvel.
Well, there was that whole thing where Paramount Plus for like 2 years weren't releasing the stuff, where they were releasing it late. So if you didn't want it spoiled, you had to watch it online. Or you had to find a way to watch it illegally, because otherwise someone would just ruin it on you.
Watch old Doctor Who. That's my recommendation. Watch old Doctor Who.
Oh. Well, I can just tell you it hasn't been good for 10 years since the 50th, but it's come roaring back. It's really good.
Has it? Has it?
Well,
should I renew my TV license?
Russell T Davies is back. He's the one who was in charge of all the old era. Yeah,
I know, but
as long as you don't have a problem with gay people or trans rights or things like that, because he's peppering a lot of that into it. But other than that, it's great.
I don't have a problem with that sort of thing.
Well, the first episode
when it becomes the purpose of the whole thing, it's kind of takes away from the story.
I will say the first episode he made this kind of trans point, and he kind of hammered it home and mentioned it 5 times in dialogue, and that really annoyed me. But since then, it's been great.
Okay, all right, maybe it'll work. Maybe it's just getting over that line, and then good stories away.
I feel like you say it once, maybe twice, and then leave it alone, and then you just show it, not say it. But he said it like 4 times, and that just like, no, just stop. It's like, we get it, move on.
Right, so answers.
Can I do my Act 4 trivia?
Sorry, Mazza.
Sorry, Maz. Carry on.
Thank you. So this guy here on the screen, Michael Bothever, also played Goltaran in Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
It was around the same time, like just before. So they probably just got him into the studio for the day, did both episodes, and then leave. Or I have no idea. He was also an engineer on the Excelsior in Undiscovered Country.
Nice.
As they were scanning him, they had a biospectral analysis readout, and they're looking at it, and you can sort of see the screen refreshing as if it's sort of sending all this different data. The numbers are exactly the same every time. So they're making it look like it's processing all this stuff, but it's actually not doing anything. This was a good one, actually. There's sort of two goofs in one, really. But as the explosions happen on the bridge of the Enterprise, you see like a helmsman sat down and his console explodes and he kind of falls off the chair, and then a Romulan jumps into his chair. Do you remember that bit?
Yeah.
Well, as the guy explodes, goes with him like this glass screen thing, which was clearly in front of him to protect him from the sparks. And you see it kind of clack to the floor with him, and then the Romulan guy has to kind of like jump over it. So
I do have that. I do have that in a minute. Actually, yeah. Oh, yeah, because it happens twice. That scene actually comes up in this act a little bit later on. But yeah.
And the other one was that they say the shields are down to 23%, but the Enterprise is actually in the middle of evacuating the crew, so the shields should be down.
Shields should be up, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in theory, they can match shield frequencies if they knew there was some external threat, so that they could still beam through it if they knew they were on the same frequency.
Yeah. So.
Sorry, please continue.
I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Answers to the questions, Chief Sean.
Yeah, no bother. So the emissions were coming from a tricorder, and it was the toy maker.
It was the toy maker. I did know he played the toy maker, but the return of the toy maker. But yeah, so there we go.
The original toy maker was played by the butler in the early Batman films.
Yes, was true.
Michael Goff, I think his name was. Anyway.
Yeah. Why that's a question, and why we would know it, the answer to it, Sean, I do not know.
Oh, well, I just love the episode so much I had to put a question.
I regret
Basically.
answering it. I was like, shall I answer it or not? I might as well, because I know the answer. And now I have regrets.
Actually, we haven't had a Wookiee all night. Oh Lord, we've got a finish. Oh, okay. Oh no, okay.
I know. Stu. It's just Monty and Stu, isn't it? There's no other. Oh God. Oh no. Right. Are you ready?
But his character was basically Q, and he did Q better than John Delancey. I'm not saying something.
He did
I'm
Q
gonna have to
better
watch
than John
that, 'cause I love
Delancey.
these Q.
Oh Christ! I'm gonna have to watch this now.
Neil Patrick Harris is a great actor, and he was just fantastic in it. He didn't have enough screen time. It should have been.
Shut up!
Oh, unlucky!
Black hole.
Shut up,
Black hole,
Shut up,
sun. Oh,
Shut up, Sean.
Blue skies.
you gotta have the Undertaker one going.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Shut up, Sean. There you go. Right. We're on tag 5. We're on tag 5. Here we go. Oh dear. I knew it. I knew that was going to happen. Watch it on. Oh, I could watch it on your TV. Yeah, then I don't have to worry about a TV license, do I? That's a good point. That's a good point, Steve. Yeah, very good, very good. So, Data informs them that they have about 7 hours and 2 minutes, and probably so many seconds and milliseconds and quantum nanoseconds before the Enterprise is consumed by the warp core breach, and they can't beam it out. It's a good thought, though. Beam the warp core out, but they can't. Picard postulates that earlier Data used his tricorder to effectively move time forward. Could he tweak the tricorder and move time backwards? Then they might have time to stop the power transfer before it even begins. Data turns around to Picard coming up with all that, and he's got that kind of like, he does that whole kind of almost Vulcan-esque kind of like, fascinating. But
I like how the display is just details about the runabout and nothing to do with the current mission.
Nothing. No, nothing to do it. He
Well,
doesn't
the
say
screen is
fascinating either. He just kind of like, oh, intriguing. It's like, yeah. Sorry, Terry?
Sue has just given us. Sue just gave us the full time score. It's a point apiece.
Yeah, that's bad news. That is. This is the worst team in the league. We needed to beat them.
Alright. But you said they had 76%.
Yeah, because we had 10 men. Yeah, I know.
Okay,
was a
so I
disaster.
think getting out with a 0-0 was a lucky escape.
Was a lucky
Oh yeah,
escape in the
Bruce
end.
got the toy maker, but you didn't put her on the wheel.
Oh, nobody said.
Oh, well, that
No,
sounds that's a
only just
recount.
said.
So.
And then she waited until after the spin.
Oh, I think we need a recount.
I think it was because Sean confused me with the multiple choice second,
I
and I
don't
was
see
just
Sorry,
wondering
yeah.
where people had put toy maker,
I don't
and I'd
see
only
Ruth
seen two
saying
people
Troi
put
maker
toy maker,
anywhere.
but she put D.
Oh, D.
Yeah, because it was multiple choice. She put D.
I didn't realise there was multiple choice.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Okay,
saying. It's
alright.
sort of confused. I think.
Sorry, I do
we're gonna
like
have to go for a
really
re-spin.
order.
I'm sorry, it's going to have to be a recount.
Oh, no.
Unlucky walk. Girl.
Sorry, Wookie.
Yes, Wookie win. Wookie win.
Did the Wookie
Wookie
win?
won. So,
Never let the
It's
Wookie
a
win.
Bruce Stu had minus points.
Never let the Wookie win.
Walk.
No,
I shouldn't be doing this. This is the wrong motion, isn't it?
No.
Yeah, it's worse even if I do it that side.
Never let the Wookie win.
Diane
spinning the wheel
shouldn't say
again.
anything. She could lose points now if Wookie wins.
Word of advice, kid.
This is
Let the
first
Wookiee win.
time in TNG review history.
Oh!
Spin it twice. Yes! Yes! Sorry, I got a bit over enthusiastic.
Yeah.
I was happy about
Right?
that result.
You
Santa
gotta get a
Claus
button out
wins.
for Shut Up Ruth now.
Santa Claus wins. Santa Claus wins. There you go. You want Christmas presents this Christmas, so you know. There we go. Thank you,
You know,
Ruth.
I've been putting in points for Andrew all this time. When did he stop answering questions?
A while back.
Oh, okay.
You'll have to go back through the
Yeah,
chat.
that's all right. I'll just take off the last three.
So, yes, where were we? I don't know. Oh yes, Data. Fascinating, interesting point there, Captain. Data thinks that by remodulating the delta band emissions of his tricorder, he could indeed produce the desired effect. So, yay for that idea. After placing a modified tricorder in the Romulan ship, they all take up their positions on the Enterprise, with Picard on the bridge, signaling others when they are ready. We then see time moving backwards, with Beverly being unshot, the warp core unbreaching, and Data having to look in all directions in engineering as people are walking about backwards and possibly bumping into him. And all is going well.
Shot.
Sorry, Sean.
I was going to say, there's a great shot in a minute where he walks forward where everyone else walks backward. And I honestly, even in today's time, I don't know how they did it because it's so seamless. It looks fantastic.
I think he probably was walking backwards as they were walking forwards or something like that, and then they reversed it. But
Yeah, it's possible.
yeah, and so it's all going well up until the point where the other alien Romulan walks in and yells at him to stop and grabs him, disrupting his field, and they fall to the floor. There it is. Patricia disrupting everything. Data then comes to.
I don't appreciate her
Guys,
putting her hands all over Data like that. She need to keep her hands to herself.
She does, doesn't she?
Boundaries.
Really doesn't really messes up Data's hair. I mean, look at it.
I know. Oh, I don't know. I'm not upset about that, but I don't appreciate her just grabbing up on him like that. I'm not feeling it. Not feeling it at all.
I know that
I
dude
didn't
in the
notice it when I was
background
watching
is jacked.
earlier, but that guy in the background is pretty stacked, isn't he?
Yeah. But I maybe the uniform possibly could be a little bit less tight. It's fair bet onto him, or maybe he likes. That
I mean,
way,
they're
who knows?
usually tight on most people, but I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Although to be fair, the sleeves
Yeah.
are the right length for his arms, so maybe it is the right size.
He's what I'd call a specimen.
Yeah. He's that guy
is.
spends 15, 20 hours a week in the gym. He has to.
I'll say.
Yeah. So Data comes to, but it's too late. The transfer has already begun. That specimen of man pushed his muscly little finger onto the go button, and there was no changing it. The warp core is now going to be breaching all over again. So Data quickly puts a stasis beam around the warp core. Meanwhile, the warbird fires on the Enterprise. I don't know why I put that picture in there. That picture's in the wrong place. Ignore that picture. This is where so the warbird fires on the Enterprise, and then we get that whole scene that Maz was talking about earlier. There's our stuntman con officer going about his business. We've seen these before, but I thought I'd show it again. And then they got like fireworks under the console, and it literally blows up in his face. I mean, it looks so dramatic, doesn't it? Like, I'm not sure I'd like to be that guy.
I feel like they should have stuff like that fixed by now.
Yeah.
Like,
By
'cause
now
those
they do.
panels, can you imagine it would be like
you-
shards of glass?
You can see the Perspex panel sailing past his left shoulder there as he gets thrown, his right shoulder, sorry, as he gets thrown to the left. But, yeah, it's a hell of a...
And this is Act 5, right?
yeah. This is all in Act 5.
I have Act 5 as being a totally different... Yeah, for some reason I thought Act 5 started with Captain's Log. So yeah, I gave some of my trivia early.
That's all right. That's all right.
Yeah, no panic.
Interestingly, not that anybody's going to find this interesting, to find these pictures, I actually went back to Trek Core, who have updated their pictures, and they've now got Blu-rays
nice.
of Season 6 and Season 7. So all this time I've been looking for Blu-rays from other sites, because the Trek Core didn't have them. They now have them. So guess what? I'm going to be going back to Trek Core now. So the rest of the pictures in this episode are now from Trek Core, because... anyway. So, yes. Just going back to that picture a minute ago, because time started, Will was surprised to see Picard as he's helped up from his sitting down position. And Picard tells him to continue with the evacuation and tells the Forge, he tells him that the Forge is unconscious in the Romulan engineering section, and he'll be needing to be beamed over as well. Then we should have the whole possibly the stuntman bit. Data engineering, Data, he asks Data for an update, and Data tells him that basically they failed, that they're buggered. They haven't stopped the warp core breach. They're effed. Picard then gets Riker to patch him into the runabout, which Riker does on his little computer thingy next to his chair. And Picard goes to the tactical station and flies the runabout into the beam, severing it and sending the aliens back to where they came from. I don't know how when Picard orders Riker to patch him into the runabout, how Riker knew to send that information to the tactical console, because Picard wasn't stood at that console at that time. But well, I don't know.
If he said patch it to tactical, or he could have just talked to the ship.
Maybe he logged in with his he logged in with his credentials at tactical, and it automatically come up. I don't know. But, there we
Well, I
see.
mean, there is such a thing as a virtual desktop. So when you go from one terminal to another, that whatever you have open opens the next thing. So we do have that. Although it's strange you'd open it at tactical because you're not doing something tactical. So I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway, there we talking
It's a
about
cool
her.
shot.
It's a cool shot. I love this shot. It's really cool looking. But as Sean did say earlier, you know, the runabout is massive.
It's about
Compared
30,
to what it
40
should be.
times too big.
You shouldn't. It should
It's
be.
also much closer than the Enterprise is.
I know,
That's
but
what he said.
the warbird is a lot bigger than the Enterprise. I mean, you can see
Warbird is 3 or
all
4
these-
times the size of the
all these
Enterprise,
tiny
yeah.
little dots here are decks. So, like, with the runabout being further away, it looks to be about I don't know, 10 decks tall. So, yeah, as you say, it looks kind of defiant sized rather than runabout sized.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll not worry about it.
No. Okay.
And
It
that's
needs to show it on standard definition, just the way it was.
it goes into the beam, and then the beam's disrupted, and the warbird disappears, vanishes, and so does the alien Romulan lady.
Bye, Lita Alexander.
Bye, Alita. We'll see you soon. There's Data confirming that
Scanning
It's
for
just
life
this one.
forms as he likes to do.
life forms. So Picard tells Data that the timeline seems to have been restored to normal, and Data confirms that the alien engineering has vanished as well. So all's happy. All is well in the world. Riker's like, okay, that's all good, well and good, but what the hell just happened? What's going on? Picard tells him that that's going to take some explaining, number one.
Hey, Lucy, got some splaining to do.
In Data's quarters, Riker pops in to give Data a new staff rotation schedule, but he's a little nervous that Spot might be around, hiding behind the corner there. He asks Data what he's doing, and Data tells him he's experimenting with how humans perceive the passage of time. Like how sometimes someone says, you know, time flew by. So specifically, he's testing the saying, what's kettle never boils. But no matter whether he observes it or not, it has reached its boiling point within 51.7 seconds, or 62 times he's attempted it. He guesses he cannot perceive time differently than what his internal chronometer tells him. And Riker suggests that Data turn it off, as humans don't have one of those. As Riker leaves, he reminds him not to be late for his shift if he does turn off his chronometer. That's a sort of jokey thing. He leaves Data to ponder the concept of this time, and Data then is surprised that the kettle then starts to boil, and he eyes it skeptically. Now, the last picture of Data eyeballing the kettle is not on any of my existing screen cap websites, so I had to find it finally on some sort of weird random blogger site in SD. So excuse the final picture being in a weird format, but that's literally the only shot I could find of it on the entire internet.
He looks like he's on
It's
his vinegar
broken
strokes.
brow. Yeah. Sorry, Sean.
I said he looks like he's on his vinegar strokes.
Yeah, that picture.
You know, as in
literally-
he just had a mouthful of vinegar.
that picture literally took me like 15 minutes to find. I couldn't find
Thank
it.
you. Your dedication.
It would have taken less time to just
Appreciate it.
take a screenshot of it.
Well, I can, because every time I try to take a screenshot of Netflix, DRM just
It won't
leaves me with a black screen.
They
Yeah,
won't let
Paramount
you do
Plus
it
does that.
anymore.
It's like, it's not like you can just go onto any torrent site and find these everywhere. So, what are you hiding?
There was a comment he made that time passage is fixed And I'm going, no, it's not. It's
No,
different.
time is relative.
It's very much relative.
It is not fixed. You just went through an entire episode that lets you know it's not fixed.
That's why they call it space-time, because it all is to do with, time's relative to each other as you observe it, as the speed you're going through space, or whether you're near a gravitational source or not.
Yeah, if you imagine space as a sheet being pulled taut, like a sheet of a rubber or something, and you put some sort of heavy ball in it that pulls it down, that rips it, not only is it ripping space, then it's also ripping the time that the space corresponds to. Pretty much.
Silly android.
Tricks are for kids.
I'm assuming that's how warp cores work, because it's not the actual ship it's a bit like that bubble they were putting around themselves when they were going through this temporal space-time. The warp core kind of does that for the entire ship. So as it's traveling through space, it's keeping that ship in the same sort of temporal bubble as it's where it originally came from.
Well, it's like walking on a travelator at the airport. You have the travelators, the escalators on the flat, and you're walking at a normal pace, but if someone's walking beside you at a normal pace, you're walking at 3 times their pace relative to them because you're getting a boost. But you're both technically walking the same pace, you're both making the same steps, but you're moving 3 times faster than them. Relatively, roughly. In a very simple way.
So there we go. That's the end of the episode. That's the end of Act 5, and it's question time.
Question time. Which emission of the tricorder does data remodulate? A alpha, B beta, C gamma, D delta? And when Riker enters Data's quarters, what does he scan the room for before entering? And by scan, I mean look around.
I think I might have to guess on the first one.
Yeah, I was just checking my notes. I thought I had it in there somewhere, but I can't see it.
Don't, but I'm gonna.
I'll give a small hint. It's what?
No, you won't. No, you will not be giving hints.
Okay, I won't be doing hints. Okay. I've been told. Mama Bear has spoken.
Meow.
She used her mother voice. I can't help it. I can't do it.
Oh my goodness.
So, final bits of goofs and trivs. The actor who played the Romulan, who shot Bev or didn't shoot Bev, thought I'd look him up, see if he's been anything else Star Trek, and he has not. However, he had a couple of hundred acting references on IMDb, most of which are voiceovers, or voices in stuff. So he's done a massive. I'd only mention this because you might be interested, Monty Pan, but he does a massive amount of anime, from Princess Mononoke to Tenchi and Cowboy Bebop, also
Cowboy
loads
Bebop.
of different games. And he's also in Naruto a lot, the series and the video game. He plays a character called Hiyashi Hyuga.
Oh, yeah.
That is? And some Emno something, Emno monkey or something. I don't know.
I have to look this up now.
Emno. His name is John Demita. Demita?
John
Demita. Demita.
John Demita.
Which character on Naruto you said he played?
Hayashi Hyuga.
Hayashi Hyuga, yeah.
And also Emno something or another. Enmo.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's saying Emma. But...
Oh yeah, he's played quite a number of characters, hasn't he?
Yeah, it seems to be mainly Hayashi, but Yeah. Just thought you'd be interested, but I mean, I named a couple of the things there, but there's just crap loads of anime stuff that he's been in. So yeah. And then when he was like in the scene with Beverly, I was like, he does have quite a. He pronounces his words really well. I don't know how to describe it, but you've got those voices sometimes that just are clear.
He's Wampa Man in One Punch Man.
Oh yeah, he's in One Punch as well.
Yeah, he's Wampa Man.
That would tickle you.
Yeah, no, that I do know his voice. That's quite funny.
So here's a bit of a big flaw. So they've reset the timeline, right? And the Romulan warbird disappears, and the alien disappears, and then Picard says, "We successfully rescued the whole of the Romulan crew, and we're taking them back to the neutral zone."
Sorry, he's the Minister of Domestic Affairs in Code Geass as well. Sorry, I'll leave that alone now.
You're in a rabbit hole.
Sorry, yes. What you said? Sorry.
I was saying that they said about how they reset the timeline. The warbird disappears, the alien disappears.
Yes.
The whole warbird disappears, and then in the next scene, Picard says, "We successfully evacuated and rescued the whole of the Romulan crew, and we're going to return them to the neutral zone."
Yes.
How did they rescue the Romulan crew if the warbird disappeared? And the
Well, they
timeline
must have
was
done it
reset?
before it disappeared.
Yeah, but
You got
But
a
why
lot-
would the warbird disappear,
Well,
but not the people
it's-
on that timeline?
before they disappeared, they must have rescued them.
I don't disagree.
But the alien that
This
was on the Enterprise disappeared. So why didn't the Romulans disappear?
There was only
and
two.
reset
There was
their
only
timeline?
two. There was only. Well, the aliens infested two Romulans, a man Romulan and a lady Romulan, right? And children, baby aliens, infested the Romulan warp core, which was kind of the ship. So the ship and the two aliens disappeared, but I assumed that before they all disappeared, the Enterprise, using all their transporters, got everybody off.
I see. Okay.
That was the way I assumed it, anyway.
Okay, I get it. So by the warbird resets to its timeline, what they're actually meaning is the alien nest has gone back to its own timeline.
Yeah, which happened to be
Not the
warbird.
warbird and the Romulans and everything that happened on the
No,
warbird.
no.
Right.
I'm not
okay.
saying this is clumsy no matter what way you cut it up, but if it just reset to where it was belonging, it couldn't have been that far away. Maybe they just, flew over to where it was and picked everyone up again.
Well, I
that's
think,
how it went.
well, yeah, I don't know. I just assumed that the warbird went the same way
Oh,
as the...
I accept it's clumsy, but, you can explain it away. Barely.
I don't know.
So another one is obviously on one of those shots we saw major damage to the saucer section, and then when we see the Enterprise flying off at the end, it's all healed
Fixed.
itself, like a magical self-healing thingamajiggy.
Magic. She's a tough
yeah.
old bird, She self-heals.
Yeah. And when Riker visits Data, there's a door across the hall which shows that they're on deck 36, but previously they've said that Data lives on deck 2.
Yeah, with the officers, yeah.
And that's all I got. Them's all she wrote.
Them's it's. Sean, you're getting criticisms that you never let Wookiee drive.
Yeah, I was just replying to him. I have to, invert the video, so change it left to right, so that happens.
You're just Wookieist.
Although, if it was TNG, the con is on the right, so Wookiee would be in the driving seat.
Yeah, or in Great Britain, I guess. So
Yeah. Well, that's a fair point.
it's just
You
a
can say
British
punch
Millennium
Chewie.
Falcon. That's all.
What does Harrison Ford always say? Punch it, Chewie. Apparently,
Punch
he's
it.
the pilot.
Yeah.
He's in charge. But we'll look at that. I'm sure you want answers, rather.
Yeah, go on
Yeah,
then.
so it was Delta, which Delta radiation, of course, famously caused Pike to end up in a wheelchair. That was the hint I was going to give before Tavi told me to shut my damn mouth. He's like, take your damn answers out of your goddamn mouth. And, when he scans the room, he scans for Spot.
He does. So who we got for Spot then?
Tavikins, Montyban, Ruth the Cat, Mazza, and Stuplum. So 4 out of 5 ain't bad.
It's just nice to have then.
I'm just saying,
You've
Wookiee's
got
overdue.
Ruth instead of Tavi there.
Oh. Was it no roof?
Ruth the Cat.
Cat?
I think we can accept that.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Okay then. Put Ruth on as well then.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Spot is a cat.
Oh yeah, true.
Okay then. Let's spin that wheel. Do 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 do.
Monty again! Amazing.
Tavikins loves it, though. Look at that.
Rigged.
Tavi finally figured out after 20 minutes I changed
competitive.
uniform.
You did?
And I had to be told.
I didn't know. You were wearing blue last time I noticed.
It's really hard to see because when on the screen from my side, when it shrinks down and you're on the side, I can barely see the red under the banner for his name. So I can't see Chewie's face. I can't see Sean's face. I barely see the divot under his throat.
Although, to be fair, the red is obviously covered by the tunic, so it's harder to see.
At least you can do it up. I mean, that's, an advantage.
Well, I get the largest one, but I'm quite a heavy person. I'm just tall, so,
Okay, that's it. We are done. We are done for this episode. We're done for the quiz. That's the end of the bingo. So if you guys
We've
want to...
got quite a few people with the same scores.
Ooh, let's see
some
what
of them
bingo does.
Some of them, like the top 6 positions are only 10
Okay.
points apart.
Did I
so
mention the Orville?
the bingo
Did I mention Red
scores could be
Dwarf? Doctor Who?
deciding.
Closed, Sean.
Did I
It's
ramble?
closed. It's closed, Sean.
Wow.
Ah, they're dead, Dave.
It's closed. So, as we're counting up the scores and trying to put all that together, start to think about what you give this episode out of 10. From 0 to 10, what would you give it? Think about it in relation to the other episodes we've seen this season. Where does it stack up for you? Let us know in live chat. All right.
Let's give my score for last week's episode.
Let's have a look.
From
Let
Bedford.
me bring the spreadsheet up.
And I don't suppose you were going to mention Stu Plum and Lindy Lou's ordeal on live.
I don't know. Stu Plum, do you
Pictures of
mind
the
me
covers
mentioning?
after, or whether you want to share?
Stu Plum, do you mind me mentioning why we weren't here last week? Let me know. Let me know if you mind me talking about it.
Score of 8 and 9 from Ruth and Wookie. Big scores. I got my score.
Yeah.
Try not to show it on the screen as I move it across.
No, we got your score for
Good.
second
I
chances.
thought I might have
Hey.
put it in chat, but I couldn't remember.
Yes, you did. You put it in chat, so we've got it all
Some
there.
people really cleaned up in bingo. Just let me get that in.
Yeah, so last week we weren't here because we had a bit of a trying week last week. Unfortunately, at the beginning of the week, some poor unfortunate chap had a medical incident and ended up accelerating up our parents' cul-de-sac and driving straight into the front of their bungalow, up over the curb, through the front wall, sailing over the garden and embedding itself straight into the front of the bungalow. So yes, it was my son's Alex's 15th birthday as well. So when
It's one he'll never forget.
when Stu Plum called, I thought, oh, he's just ringing up to wish Alex a happy birthday. But instead, no, it was to the screams of there's a car in the house, which was a bit of a shock. So yeah, we spent a couple of days sorting out, the builders and the just general helping them sort out, getting themselves straightened out. But they've got now scaffolding and wooden boards boarding up the front of their house. So not ideal. But yeah, so
Is it cold?
yeah, I mean, luckily they went straight through a radiator as well. So we luckily.
You said you had like a picture. Have you got an inside picture you could flash it just to give? Oh, you don't.
Oh, well, I could
You
do.
said you had pictures. Oh yeah, no, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, they luckily Maz and a chap Chris know a plumber, so we're able to isolate off the front of the bungalow, so that they can get their heating back on, and luckily for them, all their living places are at the back of the house, so. It's just like the spare rooms, the guest bedrooms that are compromised.
Oh, it's the guest bedroom. I was saying you don't in the UK have the good room, do you? Or do you?
We don't have that, Sean.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, sometimes in Irish households you have what's called the good room, and it's basically in case a priest ever might visit. It's just it's another sitting room that you're never allowed to use, other than maybe on Christmas Day. Kind of a thing, and it's at the front of the house because that's you don't want them going further back. So
Unfortunately, we're not good. We're not good Catholics, Sean. We're not
No. I wouldn't believe you are. Yeah, given the whole Guy Fawkes thing.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why we weren't here. So our thoughts to Stu Plum and Lindy Hops for getting that sorted out. Yeah, it's a bit of a pain. But,
Well, he's asking, have I moved yet? No, I haven't, because the house is the seller was motivated to sell, but the solicitor hasn't sent over the contracts for sale, so we can't do anything. But I can confirm the house that I'm actually moving into does have a good room straight off the front door, because hold on, I'll show you very quickly. Shite, I'm after making a shite of that. Oh, okay, never mind. Please continue, Monty.
I have the scores if you'd like to score.
yep.
Okay,
Uh,
so
No, go on ahead, sorry.
there he's got the pictures there.
Yeah, I was saying, basically the house I'm buying has a good room, and you can see it's perfectly pristine and there's nothing wrong with it. And that photo you can see in the corner is actually a photo of Jesus with a little light up candle. It's a real Catholic thing. But yeah, it won't be like that after I get it. Sorry, Madeline, scores.
Scores. So in first place today with 460 TNG review points, joint is Tavi and Monty. So 10 points each for Tavi and Monty.
Oh, is it? Oh, hang on.
Ooh.
I was just going to maybe show some of the pictures of the car thing, but sorry. I'll
Okay,
right.
cool.
No, I'll do this first. Right. Okay. So it's 10 points to.
Tavi and Monty, 10 points.
Oh.
And the bingo has indeed had an impact, because I was in joint second with Ruth, but now Stu Plum is in joint second with Ruth. So Ruth and Stu Plum get 8 points.
8 points.
Ooh.
195 and 189.
And then next is myself with 6 points.
6 178
And then it's Andrew with 5 points and Smiler with 4.
5 points for so that's 31, and 5 points for Smiler. Did you say?
5 points for Andrew and 4 points for Smiler.
And 4 points for Smiler. 48.
Yeah.
There we go. So that means, importantly, that we have our champion for this season out right now. So 3 cheers to Tavigans.
Hip hip hooray! Hip hooray!
Well done, Tavi.
Nerd!
Hasn't she won every season since she started?
Aw.
Smiler
happy.
Rainbow giving you some
You
enthusiastic
didn't count
carousing.
in. You didn't count in the smaller points for Mazza.
Oh yeah, the plus 100 Smiler points. So yeah, Maz gets the moral victory, but you get the actual championships.
Like Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, who gets third, second, and third, and fourth? We'll see.
Has Tavikins
still
won the
quite fun.
last sort of few seasons, actually?
Yeah,
Maybe
I
we'll have
think
to make
so,
a question
probably.
master so
I
that
don't
somebody
know.
else can win.
Tavikins
To
won
be fair,
last
I've only
season.
done it. I've only done it this
Stuplum
year.
won season 3, and season 4, and season 2. So basically, it was all down to Stuplum until Tavikins joined in.
Aw.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Maybe I should tap
And
out
then,
to
so we,
see
should we
Heavy.
do our episode scores, and then you can show your picks.
Yes, go on then. So, what are we scoring this episode out of 10? I think we've already got some scores in.
We do indeed.
Right then, let's score it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boing. 9977. Wow.
977.
The McCoys,
So,
the McCoys
average.
sticking together there, I tell you.
Well, I'd be pushing between a 9 and a 10 if there weren't so many plot holes. That's what brings it down for me.
I thought about
The
that.
audience is 8.3333, so 8
8.
for the audience.
I
puts
thought
me
about
out
that, Sean,
too much.
but then I figured
I just enjoyed it too much.
timey-wimey episodes, you always get
They're always
plot,
got
you always got plot points, and at the end of the day, you just got to enjoy
It'd be
them.
boring without them.
I will say that there's a couple of memes out of this episode, and I said Pogo he's a shit, but he puts together a good song. Did use it extensively.
I will admit,
it's a
right,
famous
I
episode.
know I shouldn't, and I haven't played it, I haven't promoted it, but because of that one thing, I had to play it to myself
Yeah, I
and
get it.
jammed along. And then sadly, I did have to play it another 2 times because I couldn't just listen to it once. It's
Yeah,
just
I
a
know, I
banging
know.
tune. It's so good. I'm like, God damn you, Pogo.
But it always
That would be
kills
so
me when
good.
someone comes out as being anti-trans or against other races, whatever it is, and just
Damn
telling
it.
you they're Star Trek fans. So you're like, did you watch the show?
Yeah, I know.
Like, where is this coming from?
What I'm wondering is why
It's
why
like,
are we
I
coming
like
out-
Star Trek
Oh,
and
yeah,
I
'cause
hate
you haven't got
Jews.
the
It's
last
like,
episode yet,
no,
that's why.
you can't have both.
Yes, one episode.
I think just what was the killer for him is like you can have your own opinion, but he kind of canceled himself because he was condoning like violence and murder against them. So
Just awful. Just awful.
completely off-putting. Like, ugh.
Hmm.
Pictures.
Pictures.
Is it Descent Part 1 and 2 next week? Is that right?
Sent part
Yeah,
1 and
yeah.
2 next week. Yeah.
And
Can we
to
can we
check,
just skip those? I feel we've had enough of Brent Spiner for a
You
while.
shut
so-
your filthy mouth.
Should we not bother?
and will we then?
You take my goddamn husband out of your goddamn mouth.
Will we then
Second
have
husband.
a break between Christmas and New Year, or are we going to carry on for you?
I don't know if I'm around the 27th, so
I think that Christmas week will be off for Christmas week, and then we'll be back.
Yeah, okay, so that's good.
So
So we'll end the year
3rd of
next
January,
week
yeah.
on a big double parter. We're all don our Christmas hats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Me
drink and be
and
merry.
Wookie.
Again.
Wrong side. Wookie.
Cool. Excellent.
Yeah, this is the car, unfortunately. Yeah. Put itself through the front of the house. This used to be
Bloody cyclists.
This used to be Maz and McBob's bedroom.
It was my bedroom, yeah.
Yeah.
As a teenager.
Yeah.
You got the
Did the
inside
driver
shot,
survive?
it's even worse.
Hey.
Did the
Yeah.
driver survive?
I just I don't want to accidentally show because some of the shots here show the license plate and that. I don't want to so
Right.
bear with me a minute. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna-
he didn't seem to be injured at all from the crash. But he was sort of slightly jaundiced, so we think there might be some health issues there. But he was taken to hospital and he was in for a couple of days for observation and tests. But
yeah, he was
there
in for a
nothing
couple of days.
but,
Yeah. The photo doesn't quite
yeah, so that's
do it.
the shiny bit there.
do it-
You can see the car.
Yeah, it doesn't quite do it justice, but this entire wall is like
No.
stoved in.
Yeah, you have to put in joists and rebuild it back up. I mean, that's a 10, 20 grand job to get it structurally sound again. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not
Yeah, and
The
once
whole
they took
front
the
of
car
the
out,
bungalow's
there was
kind of
obviously a
wobbly.
much bigger hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it'll hold for a bit, but as I said, you need to be putting in girders, joists, the whole lot, and just rebuilding that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they put like loads of scaffolding up and support and stuff before they'd even remove the car. Because, they didn't want... Because there's a crack all across the top there, even in the room next to it, although there's no real damage that you can see, there's a crack all along the top. And the whole thing's been shunted. And then, strangely enough, just after this has been done, their garage roof has been leaking like a sieve ever since. And that's quite a way across like the other side of the building, but
Yeah.
it's
Well, I suppose if
coincidental that it's
it's...
happened around the same time.
Well,
The
if you're
whole
putting a
thing's
claim
been given
in,
a
you
bit of a
might...
shake, right?
Here's
If
another
you're putting a claim in, you
angle.
might as well get it all done.
Oh no, that's not it.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Smiley Rainbow says she scribbled over the reg on her WhatsApp ones.
Oh, did she? Yeah. Oh no, not that one. No.
Did I ever sneak out the window? Yes, of course.
Oh yeah, that one.
Snuck out. People snuck in. I should be saying this for Stuplum on there.
We never
No, I think they
did
were
such
aware.
a thing.
Yeah, I was going to say you used to sneak in and out, didn't you? But
Never.
Our parents got a bit sort of suspicious as to why our windows were kind of like
Our window
sometimes
sills
not
were,
quite
like, really
right with
broken.
their hinges. So the first few times it's quite inelegant, but you actually get really good at it. Like you know
Yeah.
exactly where to grab and pull yourself up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. Anyway, yeah. Not a good time. And the week before, someone drove into Smiler Rainbow's car. So our car's been in the garage for the past several weeks. And
Well, that's two.
yeah.
So you're due one more.
Oh, plus Alex completely wrapped his electric bike around something and bent all the wheels.
My son, yeah.
And on the day before that accident happened, Chris and I broke down on the M5 on the way back to Lancaster.
That's true.
And Chris's father went into hospital. So it's like we went past 3 to like.
Okay, well,
least
you've gone to
6.
5, so it sounds like you need a 6th then, just to
Yeah.
balance it out.
Oh, hush your
Yeah,
mouth,
'cause
Rob.
you're-
Don't jinx it.
No more. No more.
Hey,
He did
I'm
bring
not in
those
charge of
wheels.
these things.
Yeah, our nephew Connor, bless him, he got run off his bike by a car. And his bike got mangled, and he's
Maybe that's number 6.
got a bit banged
Okay, that's
up.
your
Let's
6.
call
There
that
you go.
6 and have done with it.
I'm done with
You're
it.
done.
Yeah, no more. That's it. No more.
Guys trying to fill a quota before the year's out.
Yeah.
Seems to be. We've had like a bit of a fortnight, really.
I was just going to show this one. This is kind of like before they got the car out, they put up like supporting beams. It was later that night to try to.
And
like,
those
keep-
went in through the window and like sort of under the roof inside, I think.
Yeah. And yeah. And when they finally got the car out, that was what was left of the war.
It's where the phrase "that'll leave a mark" really comes into it, though.
Yeah. That'll leave a mark.
Just well, it happened in the summer months.
Well,
Yeah, December. Right.
yeah.
I mean, we're there. So Majram Stuplam. We're
No,
there, and then
Stu-
in the
no,
afternoon
Stuplam.
it started raining. So some of the neighbours came over with this big tarpaulin, and they wrapped tarpaulin sort of partly around the wall and partly around the car to stop all the water from the rain just coming into the
Yeah,
bedroom.
that's the kind of boarding up job they've done. Right. Yeah.
So I mean, it's boarded up, but it's like it's not sort of. I mean, I'd say airtight. It's not. That's not the right word. It's not very weatherproof. There are gaps. Mum's worried about cats and things getting in because there's a very sizable gap.
It's not ideal. There we go. Right, well, there we go. Thank you everyone for joining us this evening. Next week, we have got the two-parter. It's a data, Borg, lore fest, really, I guess. Right before
Are you
Christmas.
sure we can't skip it? Because I think it's just too much Brent for me.
My OCD wouldn't let me skip an episode.
Could you do a short version, 5 minutes a half?
Ivana looks really not impressed.
I could, sometimes when I'm like bored with an episode, I try to find like the interesting like pics or something. I could try to find like all the screen caps from the episode that didn't contain data, like Red Spiner in it.
That would give you a challenge,
You're trying to have another family accident before the holiday, I see.
All the data and lawless pictures.
Would I do that to you, Tavi? Would I?
You could go the other way and make sure every single picture has either data or lore in it.
Yes.
You could be the
Every
Dark
single
Santa.
one.
You could
Or
be
you could do half and half. So one episode one way, the other episode the other way.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. Yeah. So yeah, that's next week. Then we got Christmas, and then we'll probably and we're definitely going to do this. After that, we're going to have a sort of season in review episode where we're just going to sit and chat for an evening. See how that goes. Just to try something different. And yeah. If you are going out towards the end of this week on any work Christmas dues or any meals or anything like that, have a lovely time.
Will I see you at the Minerva?
No,
on Friday
I'm
morning?
not. I'm not going out this year. So no.
You're not out?
No,
Gosh.
I won't be out this year. We are. Smiler Rainbow and myself are actually going out for. We're going to the cinema on Friday.
Oh, nice.
But we might go out for it one or two afterwards. But probably not going to be going. We might meet you for one, but yeah, we're not going out for a big thing. So yes, but if you are, have a lovely weekend, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 8:00 for a double episode. We'll see you then. Cheers.